Chapter 2379. Whoosh. A black ray of light streaked across the sky and then disappeared. The full moon hung in the sky, illuminating the earth. At this moment, Lin Xian was walking through the forest like a ghost. There was a huge waterfall in front of him, making rumbling sounds. A figure was sitting cross-legged under the waterfall. He was like a statue, not moving at all. Beside him there was a saber stuck in the ground. On the other side was a full moon scimitar. The surrounding space was strangely distorted, and even light couldn't pass through it. Buzz. Suddenly, the figure opened his eyes and cut the waterfall in front of him. Who was it? Come out. Whoosh. Lin Xian's figure appeared behind him. In front of him, the seated figure also stood up. His gaze was as sharp as a blade as it cut through the void. However, he was blocked 3 meters in front of Lin Xian. There was an invisible force around him that blocked his terrifying gaze. Seeing this, the figure frowned. Who are you? Lin Xian didn't answer. Instead he asked, Are you Hui Dao? That's right. The figure in front of him answered coldly, and the light in his eyes became stronger, because he realized that the other party didn't answer his question. After Lin Xian got the answer, a smile appeared on his face. Very well. From today onward you'll follow me. You're courting death. Hui Dao was furious. No one had ever dared to say such words to him. He was a young expert of Immortal Palace. Clang. With a clang, the full moon scimitar beside him was pulled out. The surrounding clouds changed and the sky lost its color. The terrifying blade light swept in all directions. A huge wave of energy slashed forward. Whoosh. When Hui Dao moved, Lin Xian also moved. His figure swayed and disappeared on the spot. The moment he disappeared, the space where he was standing was split into 2 and terrifying black cracks spread. Buzz. Hui Dao's saber struck the air and he frowned. The other party's speed was faster than he had expected. However, so what? Whoosh. His gaze was like lightning as he scanned the surroundings. Soon he locked onto his opponent on the left. In the next moment, the crescent blade in his hand slashed out again. It was as if a purple thunder had descended upon the world. Clang. The sound of an intense collision rang out, and the full moon scimitar was blocked in midair. An ancient sword swept across the sky, cutting through everything. Who are you? Hui Dao furrowed his brows. His opponent was very strong. He was actually able to block 2 of his blades. This surprised him. One had to know that a casual slash of his saber could easily kill a mighty figure. Beat me and I'll tell you. If you lose, you have to come with me and become one of my people. He was overestimating himself. Hui Dao coldly snorted. I only used half of my strength just now. Is that so? Then you should use your full strength. Otherwise you won't have another chance. Lin Xian smiled. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand exploded, emitting a biting cold light. He took the initiative to attack. Chaotic Heaven Destroyer Sword. In an instant, countless sword shadows appeared in the sky. They were like huge dragons as they swept across. Full moon blade technique. The scimitar in Hui Dao's hand seemed to have turned into a cold moon. It constantly crushed the void and rapidly bombarded the sword chi that filled the sky. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. Everything around them exploded. The tall mountain peak was split into several pieces. The huge waterfall spread out from the middle and there was no more water flowing. The two of them fought fiercely, emitting a terrifying aura. Demon Seal. Lin Xian coldly shouted. A terrifying aura erupted from the ancient dragon abyss sword. The roar of a dragon and sword resounded. In the sky, countless sword chi appeared and spun non-stop. It was as if they were going to seal the entire world. Hui Dao's pupils constricted. He felt a threat and immediately roared. Death Moon. With a slash, the blade chi from the full moon scimitar spun in the sky, forming a purple moon. The terrifying light swept across the surroundings like a real full moon. It carried a power that made one tremble as it resisted all the spinning sword chi. The two of them were evenly matched in this attack. Lin Xian was surprised. He was indeed one of the experts that Xing Tian had given him. He was indeed powerful. Hui Dao frowned. Who on earth is this guy? Why can he block my killing move? He thought. Kill. He roared and the aura on his body exploded again. Moonwheel. The full moon scimitar in his hand swept out. A huge moon pushed across the sky, shattering the sword chi that filled the sky. Battle Song. The ancient dragon abyss sword shone brightly. The sword hummed continuously, shaking the heavens and the earth. A terrifying demonic sound appeared, making everyone's hair stand on end. The moon that was pushed over also trembled. Then countless cracks appeared on it. Sky shattering. With another sword, the heavens and the earth lost their color. The terrifying full moon directly collapsed, turning into countless spiritual chi and dissipating. A terrifying sword chi rose from the heavens and the earth. Bus. Feeling the terrifying sword chi, Hui Dao roared. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His body shone with a terrifying blade light. It shot into the sky, resisting the shocking sword chi. As the blade and sword collided, countless large cracks appeared in the sky. The surrounding ground was covered with tens of thousands of meters wide canyons. The terrifying blade light and sword shadows enveloped everything within tens of thousands of miles. Kid, you've completely infuriated me. Today I'll let you see my true blade skills. Demon Slaying Blade. At this moment Hui Dao's aura changed. It was also extremely sharp and terrifying. Dense black energy surged from his body. At this moment, it was as if he had turned into a demon king. His shocking murderous aura shot into the sky. As he slashed out, the black blade light was terrifying. It was as if a demon king had come out. Now this is interesting. Seeing the other party's violent and cold demonic blade, Lin Xian laughed. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared. His eyes emitted a piercing light. Bus, bus, bus. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand swung wildly. Its power increased exponentially. The sword swept out in all directions. In the sky, countless blade light and sword shadows collided, making sonorous sounds. 18 demon slaying slashes. Hui Dao roared angrily. His body quickly rose into the sky. He quickly waved the full moon blade in his hand. 18 rays of blade light rolled out like deadly blade energy rampaging in the sky. Kid, go to hell. He roared crazily, wanting to kill the strong enemy in front of him. Bus. Lin Xian held the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. The great dragon sword soul in his body erupted again, becoming more and more powerful. In the end, the dragon's roar could be heard. The surrounding wind blew violently. Heaven and earth lost their color. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand suddenly expanded. It turned into a giant sword that was 1,000 meters long. Lin Xian held it with both hands and slashed forward. Lin Xian roared angrily. He waved the giant ancient sword and slashed forward. The whole world was split open by the sword. Air waves rolled and slapped in all directions. There was a huge crack in the sky. Along with the ancient sword, it kept appearing in the surroundings. Boom, boom, boom. 18 rays of black blade light and the giant ancient sword collided in the sky, setting off a terrifying storm. Chapter 2380. Damn it, how could his sword chi be so powerful? Hui Dao's expression changed and he kept retreating. However, the ancient sword was too terrifying. It directly crushed the 18 demonic sabers and then pressed down on Hui Dao. Hui Dao roared and once again released a terrifying black saber light, forming a black moon in the sky to resist. 1, 2, 3. In the end, 9 moons rotated in the sky as if they were going to destroy the entire world. Boom, boom. However, the sword was too terrifying. In the end, the 9 moons were shattered and turned into billowing demonic chi. Hui Dao was once again enveloped. Phantom steps. At the critical moment, a black aura erupted from Hui Dao's body, forming 2 black demonic wings that cut through the void. Relying on his superb speed, Hui Dao finally dodged the sword by a hair's breadth. Phew. He panted heavily and his face was a little pale. Damn it, who is this person? His sword technique is so terrifying. His face was gloomy. He realized that he had encountered a powerful enemy. Not bad, you actually dodged my sword. You're very strong and have gained my approval. At that moment, a calm voice floated from behind Hui Dao. Bus. Hui Dao's body stiffened, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of needles. Damn it, when did the other party get behind me? Whoosh. He did not turn his head and slashed with his saber. At the same time, the demonic wings on his back brought him forward. Clang. The full moon saber collided with the ancient dragon abyss sword and made a thunderous sound. Then Hui Dao flew forward. However, his arm was numb, and the huge force caused the blood in his body to freeze. The sword suppressed the heavens. A terrifying sword chi appeared in the sky, like a huge dragon that kept circling. The sword chi that filled the sky turned into a sword diagram and pressed down from the sky. Get lost. Hui Dao roared and slashed out saber light crazily, tearing the sky apart. However, he could not shake the sword diagram at all. Demon-destroying palm. With a roar, he held the saber in his right hand and slapped out a huge black palm with his left hand. Heaven and earth lost their color. There seemed to be ghostly wails and howls on the black palm as if it had flown out from hell. Boom. The palm hit the sword diagram, shaking the void. Countless cracks appeared in the surroundings, and demonic chi spread in all directions. The sword diagram also trembled, and more sword light fell down and pierced through the black palm. Bus, bus, bus. Not only that, 18 sword lights descended like 18 heavenly swords, surrounding Hui Dao in an instant. Damn it! Hui Dao roared angrily. The saber radiance on his body was swift and fierce. He wanted to break out. However, he was blocked by the terrifying sword. You forced me. Trapped in the distance, Hui Dao roared. Countless blades and flags rolled around his body, and a purple mark appeared between his eyebrows. The power in his body was also increasing rapidly. Lin Xian frowned when he saw that. He did not intend to fight a protracted battle with his opponent, so Lin Xian instantly rushed over like a divine dragon swinging its tail. You want to stop me? Impossible. Hui Dao sneered. The countless saber lights on his body formed a sphere that completely enveloped the space within a 10-meter radius. No one could break it. Bus. Soon Hui Dao's pupils constricted. That was because the defense formed by the saber light in front of him was cut open by the sword. An ancient sword was placed on his neck. Whoosh. The aura that erupted from his body instantly froze. A drop of cold sweat flowed down from his forehead. That sword was too fast and terrifying. If the other party had not stopped, his head would have been sent flying. Why didn't you kill me? Hui Dao asked with a frown. You want me to join you? Impossible. Kill me if you have the guts. Buzz. Lin Xian withdrew the ancient dragon abyss sword and said in a deep voice. I am Lin Xian, the new Immortal Palace Master. What? You are Lin Xian, the new Immortal Palace Master. Hui Dao was shocked. He had naturally seen the announcement from Immortal Palace. He also knew that the old Palace Master had abdicated and that a young man had inherited the position of Immortal Palace Master. He did not attend the enthronement ceremony because he did not think that the other party could lead him. In his eyes, the only person that he respected was the old Palace Master. But now the other party's strength had truly shocked him. It seemed that he was wrong. The other party was completely different from the rumors. Although he was young, his strength was undoubtedly at the top of the younger generation. Follow me. I am in need of people now. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Good. Hui Dao said in a sonorous voice. Your strength has convinced me. I have decided to work for you. However, if I can defeat you one day, I will leave your side. Sure. Lin Xian nodded and smiled confidently. That was because he did not think that day would come. Let's go. Lin Xian turned around and rushed into the sky. Hui Dao put away the full moon scimitar and followed behind. The two of them disappeared into the night sky one after the other. In the starry hall, the dark red divine dragon and Xing Tian were waiting. Xing Tian was a little worried. That was because he did not know how strong Lin Xian was. Could he defeat Hui Dao? But soon, his brows twitched and he looked into the distance. Then he was extremely shocked. That was because he saw two figures in the sky returning quickly and arriving at the hall in the blink of an eye. Young master. Seeing that Lin Xian had returned, Xing Tian walked up. When he saw Hui Dao behind Lin Xian, he was also shocked. 1/you. Xing Tian was shocked. Lin Xian smiled. After 1/ you will be one of us. Hearing this, Xing Tian gasped. It seemed that the young master should have defeated Hui Dao. However, the battle was over in such a short time. He dared not imagine it. Because from the time Lin Xian left until now, excluding the time spent on the road, the battle probably took less than half an hour. He defeated Hui Dao in the time it took for an incense stick to burn. That shocked Xing Tian. After all, Hui Dao was a top elite. It seemed that the young master's strength was far beyond his expectations. Okay, let's take a rest. We still have important things to do tomorrow. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Xing Tian gave him 3 people, one of whom was Hui Dao. Now he had subdued him. As for the other 2, Lin Xian was not in a hurry to make a move. That was because he did have other things to do tomorrow. After settling tomorrow's matter, he would take the other 2 as his subordinates. The night passed. The next day the sun rose. Lin Xian stood in the void, inhaling and exhaling purple clouds and qi while cultivating. When the purple clouds disappeared, he returned, washed up, and had breakfast. The breakfast he had was naturally not an ordinary one. The rice was made of top-grade spiritual herbs. It was hard to find even one outside. In the past, Lin Xian could not eat such a meal because it was too extravagant. Chapter 2381. After eating a bowl of rice, Lin Xian felt that the qi and blood in his body were surging like a furnace of heaven and earth. burning fiercely with endless power. How extravagant. Lin Xian also sighed. Previously, he knew that the people of these major forces and sects had powerful resources. However, when he really came in, he realized that they were even more extravagant than he imagined. He guessed that the disciples of the sacred grounds and the clan of the ancients were treated like this since they were young. Thinking about those things that he fought desperately for, Lin Xian really felt that cultivation was not easy. After Lin Xian finished eating, on the other side Xing Tian and Hui Dao also arrived. "Young master, everyone is ready. They're all waiting outside," Xing Tian said. Let's go out." Lin Xian nodded. "Young master. It's fine if you bring those people to hunt, but why do you have to invite the sons of the 9 hall masters? They won't be able to rope them in." Hui Dao was puzzled. Indeed, the 9 people had different identities and they would inherit the hall in the future. However, Lin Xian smiled. "Who said that I'm trying to rope them in? Then why did I invite them? It's very simple, to establish my authority," Lin Xian said indifferently and walked forward. Hearing this, Hui Dao and Xing Tian's pupils constricted. They seemed to have guessed what Lin Xian was going to do. However, their hearts were beating wildly. It was not easy to make an example of the sons of the hall masters. If they did not handle it well and caused the dissatisfaction of the 9 great halls, things would be difficult. However, the 2 of them were relieved that the old hall master was still there. They were afraid that no one would dare to rebel. At most, it would cause some dissatisfaction. Therefore, the 2 of them followed Lin Xian outside. Outside, the 500-year-old martial artists who were selected yesterday were standing there. Lin Xian looked at those people and waved his hand. "Let's go." Qixia Mountain. It was a continuous mountain range nearby. There was abundant spirit energy and many monsters, including ordinary small monsters and giant monster kings. It could be said that this was a very suitable place for hunting. Of course, only the strong could hunt. The weak martial artists would probably become lunch for these demonic beasts. Lin Xian and the others landed on the western gorge mountain from the sky. More than 500 people gathered together, and the aura they exuded shocked all the demonic beasts. The ordinary demonic beasts immediately fled. In addition to the 500 people brought by Lin Xian, there were also many young martial artists at the 9 halls. 6 of the 9 hall masters' sons had also come. This surprised Lin Xian. It seemed that other than the 2 who couldn't come because they had a mission, only Yang Jian didn't come out of the 7 who came yesterday. At this moment, these people gathered together to chat and exchange information. Many people were even guessing what was going to happen next. That was because they didn't think that the other party had asked them to come here just for a simple hunting trip. Among them, Hui Chen and the rest were also gathered together to chat and laugh. Their expressions were extremely relaxed. However, when they looked ahead and saw Hui Dao behind Lin Xian, they were also stunned. They didn't expect that Hui Dao would also come and stand behind the new temple master. It can't be. Isn't this guy very arrogant? He has always been a loner and doesn't even pay attention to the 9 halls. Why is he standing behind that kid today? Pay attention to your words. Don't let others hear you. You should call him temple master now. Alright, give him face and call him temple master. These people were chatting and laughing. It seemed that they still didn't take Lin Xian seriously. However, they were extremely surprised by Hui Dao's appearance. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked around. Behind him, Xing Tian whispered, "Young master, Yang Jian hasn't come yet. Don't worry about him. When it's about time, we'll start." After waiting for about half an hour, Lin Xian found that no one else came. He stood up and waved his hand. Everyone quieted down and turned their gazes over. "The main reason I called everyone here today is to hunt. Everyone is the young genius of Immortal Palace, the top elites. In the future they will all be pillars of Immortal Palace. I just came to Immortal Palace and hoped to have a chance to interact with everyone. Therefore I held this hunt. I hope that we can work together in the future to build Immortal Palace. If you have any requests or suggestions, you can tell me. If you have any difficulties, you can also tell me. Just treat me as your friend." Lin Xian's voice spread clearly in all directions. It seemed that he didn't treat himself as the master of Immortal Palace at all. Instead, he spoke to these people with a very equal status. The people that Lin Xian called over were extremely excited. They were existences that had been suppressed before. When had they ever been valued so much? Moreover, this new temple master looked very amiable, which made them very excited. However, those people at the 9 halls didn't say anything. They naturally knew that the other party was doing this to win people's hearts. Among them, Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui, who had a good relationship with Yang Jian, snorted disdainfully. A hint of disdain appeared in their eyes. What was the use of roping in those people? Those were people that their halls didn't want. Although they were elite geniuses outside, they were too ordinary in Immortal Palace. These people couldn't compare to the geniuses and elites of their 9 halls at all. It seemed that this temple master was really trash. He could only pick up people that the 9 halls didn't want. In front, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He continued to speak in a clear voice. Although today is a hunt, let's have a little excitement. It was morning now, and the sunset was already the boundary. Before sunset, whoever hunted the most powerful demonic beasts and had the most numbers would be the winner. Then, whoever got first place would be the winner. As for the winner, there will be a reward. The reward will be a heaven-tier cultivation method and a sub-heaven-tier artifact. What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. The eyes of those young martial artists blossomed with shocking light. Heaven-tier cultivation method. Sub-heaven-tier artifact. Heavens, they were extremely shocked. Although they were all members of Immortal Palace and were geniuses. However, heaven-tier cultivation methods and sub-heaven-tier artifacts weren't cabbages. It wasn't something that anyone could cultivate. Immortal Palace had a complete system of ranks and contribution points. When your cultivation strength broke through and reached the corresponding rank, you could cultivate the corresponding cultivation method. You could obtain the corresponding medicinal pills and weapons. In addition, if you wanted to skip ranks to exchange, you would need to use contribution points. The various missions issued by Immortal Palace were used to obtain contribution points. Once you accumulated enough contribution points, even if your strength wasn't enough, you could still obtain a high-level cultivation method. Therefore, although these young geniuses and elites were powerful, they were only cultivating Earth-tier cultivation methods. The highest was also peak Earth-tier. As for Heaven-tier cultivation methods, perhaps only Ho Yichen and Pei Yuan, these kinds of hall children, were qualified to cultivate them. As for sub-heaven-tier artifacts, perhaps even Ho Yichen and Pei Yuan didn't have them. Even Xing Tian and Hu Yidao at the back sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, "One blade, you can also participate." "Young master, then I won't be polite." Hu Yidao grinned. Chapter 2382. Forget it, I won't join in the fun with them. Xing Tian shook his head. Don't look at how young he looked. In reality, he didn't belong to the younger generation. If he wanted to take action, he would definitely be the first. Probably Hu Yidao couldn't compare to him either. But in that case it would be useless. He knew that Lin Xian's goal was to stimulate these people through this hunt, this kind of top-notch reward. These few days, Lin Xian's behavior greatly shocked Xing Tian. Although this youth in front of him was young, his strength was valiant, and his methods were also impressive. He had just become Immortal Palace's lord, but he acted very close without any airs. Now, the scene of the hunt even more displayed his forthrightness and magnanimity. A generous reward for his subordinates. This was the perfect image of the palace master in everyone's hearts. Just as everyone was excited, a burst of applause suddenly sounded in the distance. Worthy of being the new palace master, really a good method of roping people in. However, these people that you gathered are a bit of trash. All of them are not wanted by our 9 great halls. Our 9 great halls' elite geniuses aren't what you can pull away with your little favors. When this voice came out, everyone's expressions changed. The 500 martial artists that Lin Xian recruited were immediately enraged, each and every one of them glaring, emitting biting cold killing intent from their bodies. The people at the 9 great halls looked like they were watching a show. Ho Yichen and the others even had a playful look on their faces. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, while Xing Tian and Hu Yidao frowned, looking at the sky. Damn it, who was it? Daring to cause trouble here. The dark red divine dragon also gritted his teeth in anger. The next moment they were stunned. The killing intent that those 500 people released previously instantly froze. Because they discovered that a figure walked over from the distance. The other party stepped in the air, abnormally tall, figure like a fiend god. Yang Jian. The son of the 3rd Hall Master. Moreover, his strength was powerful, one of Immortal Palace's top heaven's prides. Therefore, those people below only dared to be angry but didn't dare to speak. Yang Jian. Stop talking nonsense. Xing Tian shouted coldly. Nonsense? How am I talking nonsense? Every word I said is the truth. Yang Jian stood in the void, looking disdainfully in all directions, extremely domineering. The people from the 3 halls naturally sneered. Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui also harumphed coldly. However, Ho Yichen and the others did not agree. Although they were all part of the 9 great halls, their relationship with Yang Jian was also just ordinary. Moreover, Lin Xian didn't have any ill intentions towards them. They felt that this new palace master's attitude was quite good. Therefore at this moment they did not help either of them and looked like they were watching a show. Yang Jian looked down from the sky. When he saw Lin Xian, his eyes were filled with disdain. However, when he saw Hu Yidao behind Lin Xian, he was stunned. He didn't expect Hu Yidao to show up and stand behind him. Damn it! What's going on? Yang Jian was puzzled because Hu Yidao was an extremely arrogant person. He didn't even give face to the 9 great halls. Why was he standing behind him? Of course, he didn't think that it was Lin Xian's ability. Instead, he thought that it was the old palace master's arrangement. Therefore Yang Jian sneered. Hu Yidao, why are you siding with him too? When did your eyesight become so bad? Humph. Hu Yidao harumphed coldly and ignored him. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It seemed that the other party was still as arrogant as ever. However, it was just what he wanted. Today's hunt wasn't his real goal, and the reward was just a casual one. His real goal was to establish his authority. Originally, he was still thinking that if Yang Jian didn't come, who would be the best candidate for the remaining hall disciples. However, there was no need to think about it now. The other party was here. Yang Jian was powerful and had an extremely high status, but he was also incomparably arrogant. He was the best candidate to establish his authority. The other party was so arrogant and didn't put him, the palace master, in his eyes. It could be said that he was offending his superiors and had already violated the Immortal Palace's rules. Not only that, the other party even despised and humiliated the newly recruited martial artists, which could be said to have aroused the anger of the crowd. Among the other halls, probably only Xiaohui and Pei Yuan supported Yang Jian. It could be said that they were in the minority. Therefore, even if Lin Xian took action later, there probably wouldn't be too many people supporting him. After all, whether it was in terms of numbers or rules, the other party didn't have the advantage. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a smile. He didn't take action immediately, because he felt that it wasn't the time yet. At this moment in the sky, Yang Jian spoke again. How is it, new palace master? I'm not too late, right? It's not too late. Lin Xian nodded. Since you're here, come down and prepare to hunt together. If you can get first place, the reward is yours. Seeing this scene, the surrounding martial artists were in an uproar. Among them, Pei Yuan sneered. Would Brother Yang care about that little reward? Xiaohui sneered. This palace master isn't very good. He's not even angry. It seems that Brother Yang is more dignified. I think Brother Yang is more suitable to be the new palace master. The others were also discussing, because they felt that Lin Xian seemed to be a little too tolerant and didn't even have a trace of anger. This shouldn't be. Even Hou Chen and the others frowned. Young master, do you want me to teach him a lesson? At the back, Xing Tian quickly asked. At the side, Hu Yidao was also puzzled. Because he had fought with Lin Xian before, he naturally knew that Lin Xian was very powerful. He was probably stronger than Yang Jian. But why does he have to swallow his anger? Lin Xian shook his head slightly. No need, I'll deal with him later. Let's start the hunt first. Yes, I know. Xing Tian retreated while Lin Xian looked forward and said loudly. Now the hunt begins. Bus. Hearing this, everyone was extremely excited and moved quickly. They even forgot about their previous displeasure. Those people rose into the air one after another and flew in all directions. Qixia Mountain was very vast and the mountains were millions of miles long. At a glance, it was all dense forest. Towering trees rose one after another. There were also many monsters inside, but at this moment, they were like birds startled by the twang of a bow and fled quickly. After all, this was only the periphery and there were only some small monsters. Those people also quickly flew inside. Haha, let's go hunt. They won't be able to touch a single hair. Yang Jian laughed and left with the people of the 3 halls. Next to him were Xiaohui and Pei Yuan. The 2 of them also brought the people of their respective halls. The group of people moved in a grandiose manner, forming a sizable force, just like the kings of Buddha Mountain. Let's go too. Hou Chen and the others also laughed. Among them, Hou Chen took out a big black bow. I haven't used my Sky Frost bow for a long time. Damn. You even brought this treasure here? The few people next to him were surprised. This bow was made with the bones of an 8-star monster king. It could be said that it was a peerless treasure bow. You're cheating. Hee, I also brought my sky-splitting panther bow. The disciples of these halls took out their treasures one after another. Chapter 2383. Hee, I've also brought my flying leopard bow. The disciples of these halls took out their treasures one after another. Let's go. Lin Xian and the others also rose into the air. The dark red dragon followed them from the side, bored. From time to time, it would catch a few small beasts, spit out dragon flames and roast them. Damn it, why do rabbits smell like chicken? The dark red dragon spat its saliva wildly. With the stimulation of Lin Xian's reward, the warriors were abnormally excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. From tens of thousands of miles away, there were occasional rumbles, tremors, and lights that filled the sky. Of course, there were also countless roars. Those were the roars of the beasts. Buzz. In front of them, there was an earth-shattering roar that shattered the clouds in the sky. Obviously, it had alarmed a powerful demon king. Kill. Everyone attacked, wanting to kill the powerful demon king. Boom. 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 The demon king was a giant python. Its body was a few thousand meters long when it stood up. Its huge head was extremely terrifying as it spewed poisonous gas all over the sky. However, in the next moment it exploded. In the sky, Yang Jian held a large purple bow with both hands and shot an arrow. It killed the terrifying demon king directly. The scene was extremely shocking. The sky full of bloody mist exploded, turning into a rain of blood that sprinkled over the forest. Meanwhile, Yang Jian stood in the air like a god fiend, laughing at the sky. Young Master Yang is mighty. Young Master Yang is awesome. The martial artists at the entrance of the 3 halls congratulated him one after another. That's nothing. It's just a 7-star demon king. I can kill it easily. Yang Jian said disdainfully. Then he looked at Lin Xian with a provocative gaze. However, to his disappointment, Lin Xian looked calm and did not show any signs of anger. Yang Jian should have been smug. That was because he had already crushed the new temple master, and the latter did not even dare to be angry. However, for some reason, when he saw Lin Xian's calm gaze and expression, Yang Jian felt as if he had punched cotton and could not exert any strength. Pretentious brat. Let's see how long you can endure. Yang Jian snorted coldly in his heart. He decided to increase the intensity of his provocation. He did not believe that the other party could remain so calm. Therefore, in the next moment, Yang Jian did not set off again. Instead, he turned around and looked into the distance. At the same time, he gathered all his strength and said in a clear voice, "Palace Master, what's wrong? Are you just going to watch and not do anything? Our brothers still want to see how good your skills are." As soon as he said that, everyone turned to look at him. Hu Yidao had already left Lin Xian's side to hunt the powerful demon kings. At this moment, only the dark red dragon and Xing Tian were left beside Lin Xian. When the two heard this, their faces turned gloomy. This was especially so for the crimson divine dragon. It gnashed its teeth in anger, wanting nothing more than to grab the other party and roast him. Lin Xian, on the other hand, had a calm expression on his face. He smiled faintly. However, what's the point of just hunting demonic beasts? Why don't the two of us compete? As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were shocked. Yang Jian was also overjoyed. He was just thinking about how to provoke the other party, but he did not expect the other party to take the initiative to say such words. He was really dead. He did not know how strong the other party was. However, he was very confident in his own strength. He was one of the top prodigies in the Immortal Palace. There were not many among the younger generation who could defeat him. So what if the other party was the palace master? If the other party was not strong enough, it would still be useless. Today he was going to suppress the new palace master in front of everyone. He was going to show everyone who was the true prodigy of the younger generation. Alright, since the palace master has spoken, how can I not obey? Yang Jian laughed out loud. Then he flew forward with billowing smoke. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He naturally had his reasons for doing so. Because he felt that it was about time to make a move. When the other party was extremely arrogant, he would let the other party know what it meant by extreme joy begets sorrow. Lin Xian's figure swayed and he also followed. He did not take out any weapon. Instead, he gathered all the spiritual power in his body and formed a large green bow. In terms of archery, Lin Xian did not think that he would lose to anyone. In fact, if he activated his heavenly secret divine eyes, these people would not even be able to catch a hair. However, he was not here to show off his archery skills. Therefore, he was hiding most of his strength. His performance was ordinary, which was the standard of an ordinary prodigy. Buzz. In the distance, an angry roar sounded. Then a black demonic shadow rushed out. Endless demonic aura surged, and a huge creature rose into the sky. It was at least a few thousand meters tall. It spread its wings and covered the entire sky like dark clouds. It was a huge black eagle. It was extremely terrifying. It had 2 heads and its wings seemed to be made of black iron. It was extremely sharp. With a light shake, it shattered the void. The huge eagle was obviously enraged. At this moment, it spread its arms, bringing with it countless demonic winds that swept in all directions. Not good run. Many warriors retreated, hiding in the distance, drew their bows and attacked. In an instant, countless rays of light flew into the distance like shooting stars. However, they were directly blasted away by the black two-headed demonic eagle's wings. The feathers on its body were abnormally sharp. Ordinary attacks could not penetrate it at all. It was a peak 7-star demon king. It was extremely terrifying. As a result, many people were flustered and some were even injured. Good stuff. It's very nutritious after eating it. The dark red dragon looked at the black two-headed demonic eagle in the sky and drooled. It swung its tail and was about to attack. However, it was stopped by Lin Xian. Lin Xian sent a voice transmission. Don't mess around. I'm planning. Don't ruin it. It's easy if you want to eat demonic beasts. I'll get you a few dozen later. Alright kid, you said it yourself. You have to roast them for me personally. The dark red dragon was very interested in Lin Xian's cooking. Hearing that, Lin Xian was speechless. He shook his head but still said helplessly, Alright, you'd better stay here obediently. I'm going to reel in the net soon. It seemed that someone was going to be unlucky. The dark red dragon grinned and watched from the side. The two of them were transmitting their voices, so even Xing Tian, who was at the side, did not know that Lin Xian was going to make a big move. Lin Xian also raised his head and looked at the behemoth in the sky. Whoosh! He stopped and raised his hand to draw his bow. A green arrow flew out like a shooting star into the sky. Boom boom boom. The intense collision caused the colossal object to explode with a loud bang. Terrifying air waves rolled and thunder fell in all directions. Boom boom boom. This attack directly pierced through the two-headed demonic eagle's wings, bringing about a large amount of blood mist. Seeing this scene, the warriors of Immortal Palace in the distance all looked over. When they saw that it was Lin Xian who attacked, they were all shocked. Meanwhile, the 500 warriors exclaimed, Temple Master is so powerful. Chapter 2384. Indeed, they could see that the longbow in Lin Xian's hand was not a treasure weapon, but one condensed with spiritual power. In other words, he could still injure the terrifying Demon King with one arrow even without the enhancement of a weapon. Indeed, it was surprising. Not far away, Pei Yuan sneered. That's nothing. It's just average. He's worse than me. He's far worse than Brother Yang. Just wait and see. Brother Yang must have killed this Demon King. Xiao Hui also sneered at the side. Sure enough, Yang Jian narrowed his eyes when he saw that scene. You have some strength, but it's nothing in front of me. He snorted coldly and drew the purple longbow in his hand. The purple longbow had an extraordinary origin. It was refined from the tendons of a purple flood dragon and was extremely terrifying. It could split mountains and rivers with a light wave. It even carried a strong pressure. It could be said to be a peerless treasure. Sure enough, as soon as he drew the bow, the surrounding wind and clouds changed, and the world lost its color. There was even the phantom of a flood dragon appearing in the surroundings, roaring ferociously and letting out waves of roars. As soon as this phenomenon appeared, everyone was shocked. Heavens, Yang Jian is too terrifying. He's actually a flood dragon. What kind of longbow is that? Why do I feel that he's even more powerful than the Temple Master? Many people discussed animatedly. The martial artists of the three halls were even more proud. That's because young Master Yang is a top expert. Not everyone could compare to him. That's the purple demon flood dragon bow, right? I didn't expect Yang Jian to be so well prepared. Hui Chen and the others also frowned. Even the light of the bows in their hands was somewhat dim. In the distance, Lin Xian's eyes flickered when he saw that scene. He did not expect Yang Jian to have a treasure in his hands. However, that was better. The higher the other party stood, the harder he would fall. The more intimidating it would be to everyone. However, he felt that it was not enough. The other party was arrogant, but he was not angry at all. He had to give the other party some anger. Impulse was the devil. Only by making the other party lose his mind could he do something outrageous. That way it would be easier for him to make his move. Therefore, in the next moment, he also drew the green longbow in his hand, condensing countless green rays of light. The Temple Master was also about to make his move. Many people exclaimed. At this moment, they all stopped hunting and looked over. That was because they wanted to see if it was Yang Jian who was more powerful, or the Hall Master who was more powerful. Yang Jian naturally saw this scene and immediately sneered disdainfully. Then he released his hand. The purple light turned into a shocking bolt of lightning and rushed out, bringing with it the power of wind and thunder as well as a terrifying roar. You want to compete with me? He was too inexperienced. Yang Jian coldly snorted. However, he soon frowned. Because the purple arrow he shot out was knocked away by someone in midair, deviating from its original trajectory. Originally, this arrow was aimed at the heart of the two-headed demon eagle in the sky. However, this time, it only hit the other party's wings, causing a slight injury. Damn it. It's that guy. Yang Jian looked at Lin Xian. That was because he realized that his opponent's arrow had hit him and deviated. Oh, sorry I bumped into you. Lin Xian shrugged, looking apologetic. However, in Yang Jian's eyes, this only made him even angrier. Damn guy. How dare he go against me? He's courting death. He was really angry. He originally wanted to show off his skills. He wanted to show off in front of everyone. However, he did not expect that the other party would disrupt his plan. That was intolerable to him. At this moment, he did not care about Lin Xian's identity as the Hall Master. That was because his character was arrogant and unscrupulous. He did not take anyone of the younger generation seriously. Therefore now his eyes were bloodshot and his heart was burning with anger. Not far away, Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui also sneered when they saw this scene. Seriously, how dare he provoke Brother Yang? If he wasn't the Hall Master, I'm sure he would be lying on the ground now. Just wait and see. Even if he's the Hall Master, he'll be in trouble if he provokes Brother Yang. The two of them sneered. On the other side, Hui Chen and the others were also puzzled. What's going on? Is the new Hall Master going to fight back? That's interesting. As expected, Lin Xian acted as if he was going to fight back. He often fought with Yang Jian and even destroyed Yang Jian's attacks from time to time. This made Yang Jian's face turn red and his lungs were about to explode. Yang Jian roared crazily. His body was surrounded by a purple aura and the shadow of a dragon circled around him, making him look extraordinary. On the other side, the green light on Lin Xian's body dimmed a little, as if it was being suppressed. This scene was even more shocking. However, Lin Xian did not stop there. Instead, he continued attacking. The two of them kept attacking and attacked the two-headed demonic eagle together. There was even a small friction in the middle. After a few moves, the two of them, they both retreated. The two-headed demonic eagle was originally powerful, but under the joint attack of the two experts, it was riddled with wounds and bloody holes appeared one after another on its body. The blood dripped down and turned into a rain of blood, sprinkling over the forest. It's about time. Lin Xian looked at the dying two-headed demonic eagle and sneered in his heart. He did not attack again. Instead he retreated. The Hall Master retreated. The crowd exclaimed. Pei Yuan, Xiao Hui and the others also sneered. Sure enough, it was nothing in front of Brother Yang. Hui Chen and the others were also surprised. Could it be that they could not defeat Yang Jian? The surrounding young martial artists exclaimed in surprise. Their eyes were filled with shock. Yang Jian, on the other hand, laughed loudly and seemed to be very proud. He was indeed overjoyed because the other party dared to go against him and even destroyed his attacks. If the other party was not the Hall Master, he would have slapped the other party to the ground. How could he allow the other party to compete with him? However, so what if the other party was the Hall Master? Under his powerful pressure and energy, the other party was still forced to retreat. Thinking of this, he became even more proud. The purple demon Jiao dragon bow in his hand was constantly waving. Ray after ray of light flew out and bombarded the sky. It hit the demonic eagle's body, causing the other party's injuries to be even more terrifying. Boom. The last arrow directly hit the demonic eagle's head, causing the other party's head to explode, forming a storm in the sky. Boom. The huge corpse fell down and smashed hard on the ground. Large patches of forest collapsed. The nearby mountain peaks were shattered. The ground split open and countless cracks appeared, spreading in all directions. The dust in the surroundings turned into smoke and spread in all directions. Was killed. A peak 7-star demonic eagle king was killed by a single arrow. This Yang Jian was too terrifying. Could it be that he could already contend against an 8-star demonic eagle king? As expected of our Immortal Palace's top young expert. Chapter 2385. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Even Hui Dao frowned. He had to admit that Yang Jian was very strong. Brother Yang is mighty. That arrow just now was really too cool. Xiao Hui and Pei Yuan also flew over and came to Yang Jian's side. Ha! Yang Jian laughed complacently, his face filled with pride. He descended to the ground and stood on the mountain like corpse. Xiaohui and Pei Yuan also followed him. On the other side, Lin Xian's figure flashed and also came to the demonic eagle's corpse. The demonic eagle's corpse was very big, enough for a few thousand people to stand on, so it was not crowded at all. The surrounding people also stopped in mid-air, countless gazes looking forward. Temple Master, what do you think? Isn't Brother Yang more powerful? Xiaohui sneered. On the other side, Pei Yuan also laughed and said, Yes, Temple Master, you lost the written test this time. Ah! Yang Jian was very proud, while Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. However, at this moment, Pei Yuan said again, Temple Master, I think you should give Brother Yang the title of Immortal Palace's #1 prodigy. Is there a need to give him that title? Pei Yuan said with a smile, How about this, Temple Master, you can make Brother Yang the Deputy Temple Master. In this way we can do things that you can't do for Brother Yang. What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked and their hearts beat wildly. Hui Chen and the others' expressions also changed. These guys are too arrogant. However, the people of the 3 halls were very excited. If Yang Xiaohui became the Deputy Temple Master, then they would also rise to the top. Lin Xian's 500 people gritted their teeth and their faces were gloomy, because they felt that the other party was too much. This suggestion is not bad. After Yang Jian heard it, he was also very satisfied. Then he walked forward and patted Lin Xian's shoulder. How about it? Agree. Let me be the Deputy Temple Master, and I'll guarantee your safety for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about anything. As soon as these words came out, the world changed color. Everyone was shocked. It seemed that Yang Jian's ambition was not small. He actually wanted to fight for the supreme position. Xing Tian's face was gloomy. The other party was too much. He was about to say something. However, he was stunned. This was because Lin Xian had also spoken. At this moment, Lin Xian's face was completely cold, and his eyes were filled with a biting cold light. He said coldly, Take your hand away. Who told you to pat my shoulder? Do you have the right to film me? What? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe their ears. Even Pei Yuan and Xiaohui were dumbfounded. Then they screamed out loud. What did you say? What did I say? Lin Xian sneered. What do you think I said? Brat, don't go too far. Pei Yuan said coldly. Lin Xian shouted coldly, How dare you? As soon as this voice came out, it was like a clap of thunder that resounded in all directions. Pei Yuan and Xiaohui were shocked. They did not expect that the new hall master, who had always swallowed his anger and kept his silence, would explode with such power. Needless to say, this sound really scared the two of them. However, Yang Jian's face turned completely gloomy. Brat, you dare to scold me? His expression was cold. Lin Xian looked at him and his eyes flickered. What did you call me? I'm the hall master of Immortal Palace, and you're just a martial artist of a hall. When you see me, you have to respectfully call me hall master. Don't tell me you're so arrogant that you've forgotten the rules of Immortal Palace? Hall master. You're also called hall master? Yang Jian was really angry. When had he ever been scolded by a brat like this? Moreover, the other party's strength was clearly inferior to his. That was intolerable. How can someone like you be the hall master? You're so weak. If it weren't for the old hall master supporting you, you probably wouldn't even be able to enter Immortal Palace. How dare you? Yang Jian, are you trying to rebel? Seeing this scene, everyone was in an uproar. At the back, Xing Tian also shouted coldly. I'm rebelling. What can you do to me? Yang Jian shouted angrily. He was really mad. As soon as those words came out, the surrounding people were also in an uproar. They were extremely shocked. The other party actually dared to say such disgraceful words. He was really insolent. Lin Xian sneered. This was exactly what he had been waiting for. Buzz. The great dragon sword soul in his body circulated crazily. Then it erupted with terrifying energy. Lin Xian stretched out a green dragon hand and slapped forward. Bang. Yang Jian was instantly slapped to the ground. The terrifying power shattered the void. The 1,000-meter-long beast carcass under their feet instantly split open, turning into countless blood chi that scattered in all directions. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Their eyes widened. They could not believe it. Even Xing Tian was stunned. He did not expect Lin Xian to suddenly attack. Pei Yuan and Xiaohui, who were at the side, were stunned. Damn brat, how dare you hit me? Yang Jian roared crazily, and his expression was abnormally cold. Murderous intent quickly emerged from his body. That was because he could not tolerate it at all. How dare the other party attack him? Moreover, the other party even injured him. To be honest, the palm just now was too sudden. He did not expect the other party to attack him. Therefore he was completely unprepared and was slapped to the ground by the other party. "I'm going to kill you," he roared crazily, and terrifying power surged out of his body. He wanted to counterattack. Bang. However, as soon as he stood up, he was slapped down. The terrifying green dragon palm slapped his body, directly shattering half of his bones. Blood spurted out crazily. Cracks that were thousands of meters long appeared on the ground and spread in all directions. Not only that, the green dragon palm did not disappear this time. Instead, it was like a green mountain that pressed down on Yang Jian's body, completely suppressing him. Countless sword chi flew out from the green dragon palm and entered Yang Jian's body to seal him. "Brother Yang." Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui cried out in alarm and kept retreating. "Damn it, let go of our brother Yang." The people of the three halls also roared angrily. They all pulled out their swords and roared, "How dare you touch our young master Yang?" Seeing that a great battle was about to break out, Xing Tian roared, "Who dares to attack? Do you all want to rebel?" He was a peerless expert. At this moment, his voice carried incomparable power, causing the blood in everyone's body to surge. In an instant, everyone was stunned in midair. Yes, the other party was the Immortal Palace Master. Regardless of whether he was strong or not, the other party was still the Immortal Palace Master. They actually dared to attack the Immortal Palace Master. Even if they succeeded, they would probably end up in a miserable state. At the thought of this, everyone retreated. Lin Xian sneered and ignored the people of the three halls. Then he stared at Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui. "What? Do the two of you want to attack me too?" Being stared at by Lin Xian's cold eyes, the two of them were shocked. Then they shook their heads and did not dare to do so. However, at this moment, Pei Yuan gritted his teeth and said, "But Brother Yang is the son of the third hall master." Chapter 2386. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. "Third hall master's son? So what? Even if third hall master was here, he probably wouldn't dare to attack me. Brat, you're dead. Let go of me, I definitely won't let you go." Below, Yang Jian roared crazily. The endless power in his body wanted to attack, but it was suppressed. He couldn't use any of his strength at all. "I'm dead? You still dare to threaten me now?" Lin Xian sneered. "Reckless thing. Do you know that you've committed a heinous crime? Insubordination. Attacking a palace master. Openly rebelling. Every single one of them deserved to die 10,000 times. I can kill you right now." Lin Xian's voice was sonorous and powerful. It was like the hammer of a thunder god, fiercely smashing into everyone's hearts. Everyone's faces were filled with fear, and their hearts were beating wildly. The reason for that was because they discovered that what Lin Xian had said was the truth. If he really wanted to punish Yang Jian according to Immortal Palace's rules, he was really dead. However, everyone knew that Yang Jian's words were definitely said out of anger. He wouldn't really rebel. Sure enough, after hearing this, Yang Jian was so angry that he vomited blood. He was pressed to the ground and roared crazily. "Damn brat, you dare to convict me? You dare to kill me? You dare to touch me? Do you believe that my father won't forgive you? People of Third Hall, come over here. Save me." Yes. Hearing this, the people of Third Hall came over one after another. Bus. However, when they ran halfway, a huge blade light slashed down from the sky, splitting the ground in front of them. A large canyon appeared, blocking everyone's path. The remaining biting cold aura on the ground made everyone's scalp go numb. Whoever dared to take a step forward would die. Hui Dao descended from the sky. He was already following Lin Xian now. How could he allow these people to rebel? Damn it. Our young master Yang didn't commit any crime. Why should he be arrested? No crime? Are you blind? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Xing Tian, read Immortal Palace's rules for me. Yes. Xing Tian walked out and said loudly. Immortal Palace's rules. First, rebels and traitors behead. Second, those who offend their superiors will be beheaded. Third, those who disregard the rules of the palace will be executed. After 3 consecutive slashes, countless large cracks appeared in the void as one black hole after another appeared behind Xing Tian. Very good. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Yang Jian had committed all 3 crimes, and his crimes were punishable by death. Unforgivable. Now it was time for the execution. His cold voice spread in all directions, shocking everyone. At this moment, these people were all stunned. They didn't expect that things would take such a huge turn. After all, it was Yang Jian who had been overbearing all this time. The new palace master was pressured to the point that he could not breathe. But who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, the situation would change? The powerful and arrogant Yang Jian was pressed to the ground, unable to move at all. The new palace master, who had been silent all this while, now displayed an unparalleled domineering aura. He even wanted to kill Yang Jian. At the side, Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui's faces were filled with fear and anger. In the distance, Ho Yichen and the others were also shocked. However, among them someone said, "Just wait and see. At most we'll just punish him. We won't really kill him." That was for sure. It seemed that the new palace master wanted to establish his authority, but killing Yang Jian was not worth it. After all, he was the son of the third hall master. If he killed him, the third hall master would definitely go crazy. Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui, as well as the martial artists at the third hall, naturally knew this. Therefore they pleaded for mercy. "Palace master, young Master Yang was just playing with you." Yes, young Master Yang was muddle-headed and said those words in a moment of impulse. He had no intention of rebelling. "Palace master, please let young Master Yang go." The people at the third hall were also shouting. As for the others, they were all stunned. "Playing with him?" Lin Xian sneered. "Who is he to play with me? What do you take me for? A toy for you to play with? Or do you not have me in your heart at all?" Lin Xian's cold voice sounded again. His eyes were like two sharp divine swords sweeping across these people. But these people's hearts were beating wildly, and they felt a chill in their hearts. They did not dare to say anything else. Below, Yang Jian was roaring crazily. "Kid, you better let me go. I can pretend that this didn't happen. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Don't forget that my father is the third hall master. I said execute him." What? In the distance, the 500 people were stunned. Even Hu Yidao and Xing Tian were stunned. "What's going on? Are we really going to kill Yang Jian? Ha 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 ha. Kid, did you see that? No one dares to touch me." Seeing this, Xing Tian laughed arrogantly again, and his eyes were full of disdain. Indeed, his identity was extraordinary. The third hall master was an incomparably powerful expert among the 9 hall masters. As the son of the third hall master, no one dared to offend him. "No one is going to do anything? I'll do it myself." Lin Xian snorted coldly, and his body emitted a strong aura. He waved his hand, and the green dragon hand grabbed Yang Jian and suspended him in the air. The surrounding sword chi formed chains and nailed him to the ground. "Damn it, open up!" Yang Jian roared crazily. However, the sword chi formed by the great dragon sword soul had already sealed his body and suppressed all his strength, so Yang Jian could not break free. Insubordination. Rebellion. Disrespect. You will be punished by 3 knives and 6 lashes and beheading. Lin Xian said coldly. Crack. He flipped his palm and a blue treasured saber appeared in his hand. Then he looked up and stared at Yang Jian. How dare you touch me? Try touching me. You're dead meat if you touch me. Yang Jian shouted crazily in the air. However, at the next moment his voice stopped, and he even let out a miserable cry. That was because the blue long saber had directly penetrated his body and came out from his back. Poof. Blood spurted out and dyed the void red. Yang Jian screamed crazily in the air and his face was distorted. Everyone was stunned by this scene. What? He really did it? How dare he do it? At that moment Pei Yuan, Ho Yichen and the others were full of horror. Even Hu Yidao and Xing Tian were shocked. Damn it, are you trash? Kill him. Yang Jian roared crazily. Those people in the third hall recovered from the shock and gasped. Young Master Yang. At that moment, one of them could not help but rush forward. He was also a young genius in the third hall. His body swayed and rushed into the air. A long sword appeared in his hand, and he slashed down in an attempt to save Yang Jian. Bang. Poof. However, at the next moment, his body was split in half from the middle. His body fell to the ground. The long saber in Lin Xian's hand slowly fell. His cold voice sounded. Whoever wants to be Yang Jian's accomplice, step forward. He was killed with a single slash. Everyone was stunned again. That's a young expert. He's very powerful. Although he's not as powerful as Yang Jian and the others, he's still terrifying. He was killed with a single slash. Chapter 2387. Heavens, why is the temple master so powerful? That slash had stunned the people from the 3 halls. Yang Jian's pupils constricted and he screamed. Damn brat, you've been hiding your strength. He realized that Lin Xian was much more powerful than when he had fought with him previously. This caused his heart to turn cold. He felt that it might be a trap for him. In the next moment he screamed, "Let me go if you dare. I want to fight you one-on-one. I can kill you with one slap." Poof. However, Lin Xian ignored him. He took out another golden long saber and stabbed it into Yang Jian's body. The third purple long saber was stabbed into Yang Jian's body. There were 3 sabers stabbed into Yang Jian's body and his blood stained the ground. This scene shocked everyone. They didn't dare to believe it. Pei Yuan, Xiao Hui, Hui Chen and the others were also shocked. They did not expect the new temple master to be so ruthless. "Damn brat. Kill me if you dare. Otherwise I won't let you go." Lin Xian snorted. Now that the punishment of 3 slashes was over, it was time for the 6 lashes. At this point, he waved his hand and countless lightning bolts gathered in his hand, forming a lightning whip. Crack. The lightning whip lashed out, lashing out at Yang Jian's body. His skin and flesh were torn open and even his bones were exposed. Yang Jian's body was surrounded by lightning and the pain almost made him pass out. Kill him. Kill him. I'll take responsibility for anything that happens. Yang Jian roared crazily. However, Xiao Hui and Pei Yuan kept retreating and their faces were full of fear. "Are you kidding me? I don't dare to move. Otherwise they would end up like Yang Jian." However, the people from the 3 halls were furious. Their young master was actually being tortured like this. This was something they couldn't bear. In an instant, 3 experts rushed out. "Let go of our young master." Although they were angry, they were not stupid. They did not dare to attack Lin Xian directly. After all, Lin Xian was the temple master. Thus, they directly charged forward with the intention of saving Yang Jian. As long as he could save Yang Jian, there was no need for them to worry about the rest. However, just as the 3 of them arrived in the air, Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved the lightning whip in his hand, directly splitting the 3 of them apart. Poof, puff, puff. The 3 of them were cut in half at the waist. Their bodies were surrounded by countless streaks of lightning. They were charred black and emitted white smoke. The corpse fell to the ground like a clap of thunder, fiercely striking everyone's hearts. "If you're not afraid to die, then come at me." Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then he waved his lightning whip again and lashed it at Yang Jian. Yang Jian's crazed screams were extremely miserable, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. However, no one dared to make a move. The sons of the great halls were extremely shocked. The other martial artists were even more stunned. Although the people from the 3 halls were furious, they didn't dare to act rashly. After all, the 3 charred corpses were still there. Soon the 6 lashes were finished. Yang Jian's entire body was charred black, and there was not a single spot on his body that was unharmed. White bones could be seen in many places. Not only that, but his internal organs were also seriously injured. It could be said that Yang Jian had never suffered such serious injuries since he was young. "I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you." Yang Jian's eyes were red, and his mind was a little unclear. He opened his mouth and roared angrily. Every time he spoke, endless black smoke would rise. His entire body was about to be roasted by the lightning. The 3 slashes and 6 lashes were all over. Next it was time to behead him. As he said that, the lightning whip in Lin Xian's hand disappeared. He slowly pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword. A sharp aura surged out from his body and swept through the 9 heavens. What? Behead him? Was he really going to kill Yang Jian? Everyone's hearts were beating wildly, and they were extremely shocked. Because although the 3 slashes and 6 lashes had injured Yang Jian previously, his life was not in danger. With a genius like Yang Jian, coupled with the treasures in the hands of the 3rd Hall Master, it could be said that he could recover very quickly. However, beheading him might not be the same. He had directly killed Yang Jian. In this world, who could bring bones back to life? Even the great emperors couldn't do it. If he died, there would be nothing left. Therefore, when everyone heard about beheading, they were all stunned. No way he was really going to make a move? Hui Chen and the other hall disciples were shocked, not daring to believe it. As for Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui, they were even trembling as if they had seen a devil. How dare he? Could it be that he was not afraid of the 3rd Hall Master's rage? One had to know that the 3rd Hall Master was ranked in the top 3 among the 9 great Hall Masters. Moreover, his personality was extremely violent. In addition, there were countless elite powerhouses in the 3 halls. If the 3rd Hall Master was angry, it would definitely be an unimaginable nightmare. What? Kid, you dare to kill me? You actually dare to kill me? Yang Jian was also so angry that his entire body was trembling. What kind of joke was this? In the entire Immortal Palace, who dared to kill him? This time Hui Dao was also stunned. Even Xing Tian couldn't remain calm. To be honest, he also didn't expect that Lin Xian would actually have the intention to kill. To be honest, he was very much in favor of establishing dominance. After all, everyone didn't care much about this new hall master. In fact, they even disdained him. Therefore, he felt that Lin Xian really needed to establish his dominance. Using Yang Jian's Li Wei, the effect was also the best. The previous 3 blades and 6 whips already had an effect. Didn't they see that even those hall's children had faces full of horror? But he didn't expect that Lin Xian actually wasn't willing to stop and still wanted to carry out the final execution. How could he know that this was long decided by Lin Xian? This Yang Jian was extremely arrogant, provoking him again and again, and even wanted to be the deputy hall master. He even wanted to replace him as the hall master. How could Lin Xian tolerate this? If he didn't kill Yang Jian today, he was afraid that no one would put him in their eyes in the future. Therefore Yang Jian would undoubtedly die. Why, are you very surprised? Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. What you have committed is a capital crime. I have 100 legitimate reasons to kill you. Even if you are killed, the 3rd hall master can't say a word. Everyone was terrified. This method was too terrifying, right? Indeed, if he was killed according to Immortal Palace's rules, no one would be able to find fault with it. However, with the 3rd hall master's personality, even if there was nothing wrong with him, he would still go crazy. They didn't dare to imagine how chaotic Immortal Palace would be if Yang Jian really died. Whoosh! Lin Xian raised the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. Oh! In front. The martial artists at the 3rd hall were stunned. Yang Jian's previous torture already made them angry and frightened. However, they could still tolerate it. But it was different now. Yang Jian was actually going to be killed. If Yang Jian really died, they probably wouldn't be able to live either. Therefore they rushed over as if they had gone mad. Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Offending your superiors and collaborating with Yang Jian to rebel, you all have committed a capital crime. Chapter 2388. Lin Xian did not hold back at all with this sword strike. The power of the great dragon sword soul was completely unleashed. Together with the power of the ancient sword, it slashed forward. All the martial artists from the 3 halls were shrouded. Boom. There was an earth-shattering roar and the sky split open. Terrifying cracks appeared on the ground, and countless sword chi pierced through the surroundings. The terrifying aura sent chills down everyone's spines. At this moment, the disciples of the halls and the surrounding young martial artists were all stunned. Wasn't this sword too terrifying? Although it was not aimed at them, the aftershock sent chills down their spines. Damn it, what level had the new temple master reached? They had an unfathomable feeling. After the sword slashed down and the sword chi disappeared, these people were even more stunned. Dozens of elite martial artists and young geniuses from the 3 halls were all killed. What a terrifying sword chi. Everyone was horrified. Yang Jian's pupils constricted. He did not expect the other party's strength to far exceed his expectations. Thinking of this, fear appeared in his eyes. Oh, damn it. You can't kill me. Put me down, or my father will never forgive you. No one can save you, not even your father. Lin Xian's eyes were cold, and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand slashed forward. Oh. Yang Jian was terrified and he screamed crazily. Everyone's eyelids twitched in disbelief. Poof. Blood spurted out and a head flew up. The sword was out and the person was dead. What? Killed. He was really killed. Yang Jian was really killed. At this moment, Ho Yichen and the other hall masters' hearts were beating wildly, and their faces were full of shock. Even Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui were trembling. Although the 2 of them were arrogant before, they were terrified now. The other geniuses in the distance were also shocked. They looked at Lin Xian with faces full of fear. Hui Dao was stunned. Even Xing Tian was in a daze. He could not believe it. Lin Xian killed Yang Jian. The 3rd hall master would go crazy. Xing Tian opened his mouth wanting to say something. However, Lin Xian kept the ancient dragon abyss sword and shouted coldly. Xing Tian. Yes. Xing Tian came to his senses and stepped forward. Lin Xian said with a heavy voice. Use my orders to inform Immortal Palace that Yang Jinni was plotting a rebellion and was killed by me on the spot. Yes. Xing Tian said respectfully. The others continued to hunt, and the reward for the first place remained unchanged. Whoosh. The others hurriedly left and flew in all directions. They were not keen on hunting, but wanted to escape from this place as soon as possible. The reason for that was because the atmosphere there was simply too oppressive. Lin Xian's terrifying aura and pressure made it hard for them to breathe. This was especially true for Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui, who immediately ran away. What kind of joke was this? Even Yang Jian had been killed. If they dared to act presumptuously, they would most likely be killed with a single slash. The others were also terrified, but the 500 people that Lin Xian had subdued were incomparably excited. They clenched their fists. Great. Originally they were still feeling indignant for the hall master, thinking that he was too tolerant. Now it seemed that this was not the case at all. The new palace master's strength and decisiveness had far exceeded their expectations. If they followed such a person, they would definitely become outstanding in the future. Hui Dao also walked over. He looked at Lin Xian with a hint of respect in his eyes. Young Master Yang Jian's corpse? What's the use of a traitor's corpse? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Leave it here. Lin Xian glanced at it, then no longer paid attention to it. What? Don't you want to be the first place? Hurry up and hunt. Lin Xian waved his hand. Yes. Hui Dao cupped his fists, then rose into the air and flew into the distance. This kid was too satisfying. Damn it, he had long disliked this guy. Getting rid of him was really too satisfying. The dark red divine dragon at the side waved its dragon claws and said viciously, "If you didn't do it, I would have done it long ago. Damn it, who does this guy think he is? How dare he behave so atrociously above us?" Xing Tian's eyelids were also twitching wildly. However, he was still worried. Although they had shown their power, they had completely offended the third hall master. So what? Lin Xian said indifferently. He had offended the third hall master and completely subdued the entire Immortal Palace. It was not a loss for him. Moreover, he was the master of Immortal Palace. How could he be humiliated like this? Would the previous old palace master be provoked like this? Would he tolerate such a thing? Xing Tian stopped talking. What a joke, who dared to provoke him? Even the 6 great guardians had to be respectful. If they were to jump up and down like Yang Jian, they would have been slapped to death. Now he did not say anything. Since things had already happened, he would think of a countermeasure. After all, he was sent by the old palace master to protect Lin Xian. Now he could see that this new young master was very powerful. Not only was he powerful, but he was also one of the top existences in the younger generation. His temperament and methods were also extremely terrifying. To put it bluntly, he was also someone who would not be bullied. Thinking of this, Xing Tian felt a little excited. Lin Xian was still very young, but he was already so powerful. If he grew up in the future, he might be like the old palace master back then, dominating the world. Lin Xian did not participate in what happened next. He floated in the void and looked into the distance. Behind him followed the dark red divine dragon and Xing Tian. Soon, the afterglow of the setting sun arrived. The one who won in the end was naturally Hui Dao. Hui Chen and the other hall master's sons were not interested at all. They were thinking about Yang Jian's matter, and a few of them even wanted to escape. They wished that time would pass faster. Therefore they did not hunt at all. The people of the other halls were also preoccupied. Therefore the ones who really hunted were the 500 people that Lin Xian took in, as well as Hui Dao. Among them, Hui Dao was of course the most powerful. Looking at the monster corpses that were piled up like a mountain, Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. It seemed that the strength of these people was indeed very powerful. As expected of the young geniuses of Immortal Palace. What made him even more satisfied was the attitude of these people. These people looked at him with a trace of respect and fear in their eyes. This was the effect he wanted. Otherwise, as the palace master, how could he lead the heroes in the future? Ruffian dragon, pick a few that you like and bring them back for you to roast. Alright, I won't be polite. The dark red divine dragon grinned and glanced at the monster corpses. He picked a few tasty ones and carried them over. Alright, let's go back. Apart from the first place, the second and third place will also be rewarded. The rest of you should cultivate well. I won't treat you unfairly. Lin Xian's words were directed at the 500 people. Thank you, Palace Master. The 500 people were very excited. Next, Lin Xian and the others left Western Canyon Mountain and returned. Hui Dao and the 500 people followed him back. Hui Chen, Pei Yuan, and the others did not enter at all. Chapter 2389. Yang Jian's corpse was also taken away. After all, such a big thing had happened. They had to go back and report it quickly. Because they felt that the matter was definitely serious. It would probably cause a huge commotion in Immortal Palace. With the third hall master's personality, he would definitely be incomparably furious when his son was killed. On the other side, after Lin Xian and the others returned, Xing Tian issued a decree that spread throughout the entire Immortal Palace. When this news spread, the entire Immortal Palace was in an uproar. They didn't even dare to believe this news. What was going on? Yang Jian rebelled? He was killed. Heavens, I'm not dreaming, am I? Although Yang Jian was arrogant, he shouldn't have rebelled, right? Who dared to kill him? The new palace master? Heavens, are they going to go against the third hall master? Why do I feel that this news isn't true? Discussions could be heard one after another. However, when the cultivators from the various halls and Ho Yichen and the other hall master's sons returned from Shisha Mountain and passed the news to each other, this matter was finally confirmed. Everyone was stunned. They knew that the matter was probably going to be serious. Sure enough, when the people from the third hall heard the news, they immediately went berserk. To be honest, they didn't believe it at first. What kind of joke was this? Yang Jian was their third hall master's son. Who dared to offend him? Not to mention killing him. However, when Yang Jian's corpse was carried back, the people from the third hall were all stunned. Their eyeballs almost popped out. How was this possible? How could someone dare to kill Yang Jian? Could it be that they didn't want to live anymore? After the third hall master received the news, he even came out of the secret chamber. Originally, he was in seclusion, preparing to cultivate and break through. But now he wasn't in the mood to cultivate at all. How could he accept the fact that his own son had been killed? Boom. Speak, what happened? Who killed my son? The third hall master roared crazily like a lion. He was a tall man to begin with. At this moment he was really like a demon king. Yes. The young cultivators under him trembled and began to narrate the entire incident. When the third hall master and the surrounding people heard that Yang Jian had been struck with 3 blades, 6 whips, and was beheaded, they were all shocked. Especially the third hall master. He roared angrily, and the entire hall directly exploded. Intolerable bullying. How dare he kill my son? I must kill him personally. No matter who he was. The third hall master had really gone crazy. A brat who had just been promoted actually dared to make a move on him? How reckless. The elders beside him hurriedly tried to dissuade him. Hall master, although that brat is detestable, he is still the hall master. We cannot be impulsive. We must plan this carefully. They frantically tried to dissuade him. Indeed, Yang Jian was judged to have rebelled and was killed. If the 3 halls directly charged into the Stellar Hall, they would probably be taken down on the spot. I don't care what kind of palace master he is. How could a brat like him have the qualifications to be my immortal palace's master? I want to see what kind of monster he is. The third hall master completely ignored him. He swore that he would definitely kill the other party in order to vent the hatred in his heart. Everyone listen to my orders. Yes. Attack the Starry Hall. Kill. 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 An earth-shattering sound rang out as waves of murderous aura soared into the sky. From the looks of it, these people were really prepared to go all out. Boom. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly descended from the sky. An enormous aura, like 100,000 mountains, pressed down. It shattered all of the murderous aura, enveloping everyone's hearts. Sensing this terrifying aura, the expressions of the people in the 3 halls changed, all of them raising their heads towards the sky. Even the third hall master's face sunk, coldly shouting, "Who is it? You actually dare to behave atrociously in my territory?" Yang Guang received the decree. An ice-cold voice sounded, carrying with it an unmatched pressure. Hearing this voice, the third hall master's expression finally changed. Great Law Protector. What was the Great Law Protector doing here at this time? It definitely wasn't something good. You want to defy the decree? The Great Law Protector descended in midair. He was an elder, currently holding a golden scroll in his hand, releasing 10,000 streaks of radiance. I don't dare. Yang Guang received the decree. The third hall master knelt on one knee, kneeling on the ground. The surrounding people in the 3 halls also knelt on one knee, looking extremely respectful. Under the old hall master's orders, Immortal Palace's members were not allowed to cause trouble, not allowed to disobey their superiors. Those who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. When he finished speaking, a terrifying aura rose from the Great Law Protector's body, engulfing the 9 heavens. The Great Law Protector was extremely terrifying, his cultivation reaching the Invincible King level. At this moment, an invincible pressure was released, causing the people in the 3 halls below to tremble. What? Hearing this, the people below were shocked, but they didn't dare to raise their heads at all. Yang Guang, however, suddenly raised his head, his expression becoming incomparably ugly. They were not allowed to cause trouble, and they were not allowed to disobey their superiors. Although it said that they were Immortal Palace's members, it was clearly meant for him. Moreover, this was personally issued by the old Hall Master. He knew how powerful the old Hall Master was. Even invincible kings weren't enough in front of him. It could be said that he had reached a shocking level. If he dared to resist and angered the old Hall Master, he would probably be slapped to death. Therefore, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and say Yang Guang received the decree. Seeing this scene, the great law protector put away the golden decree, and then said in a deep voice, "The new Hall Master was personally chosen by the old Hall Master. Don't make a mistake. I hope you can take care of yourself." After saying this, the great law protector's figure flickered, disappearing into the void. Then the unparalleled pressure disappeared as well. Feeling the disappearance of the pressure, the martial artists in the 3 halls below all heaved a sigh of relief. It couldn't be helped. The aura of an invincible king was too terrifying. They couldn't bear it at all. Yang Guang's expression was incomparably ugly. A few elders surrounded him and quickly said, "Hall Master, what should we do? What should we do? What else can we do? Do you think we still have a chance to resist?" The 3rd Hall Master's face was ashen. However, soon after, he clenched his fists, and his square face became incomparably ferocious. "Damn it, I can't take this lying down. Although the old Hall Master is protecting him, I don't believe that he can protect him forever. Seclusion. From now on, don't disturb me. I won't come out of seclusion until I become an invincible king." Yang Guang gritted his teeth. He was already an 8-star peak king, and he was very close to becoming an invincible king. However, it was also very difficult to break through. However, this time he decided to enter seclusion. Because only by becoming an invincible king would he have a chance of revenge. Rumble. Yang Guang entered the ground and used the earth spirit vein to enter seclusion. Although the people in the 3 halls were also angry, they became incomparably low-key. There was no other way. This decree was obviously targeted at them. If they dared to cause trouble, they would probably be killed very soon. Therefore, everything could only wait for their Hall Master to come out of seclusion before making a new plan. The Great Law Protector's decree was not only issued to the 3rd Hall Master, but also spread throughout the entire Immortal Palace. Chapter 2390. They didn't expect the old Palace Master to make a move at this time. Moreover, he stood firmly on Lin Xian's side. This let them know that the new Palace Master's position was probably unshakable. The other Hall Master's eyes were gloomy. Then they quickly warned their subordinates not to cause trouble. They couldn't afford to offend him. They could still hide. At most, they would carry out their own mission and ignore him. Pei Yuan, Ho Yichen, and the other Hall Master's sons also felt their scalps go numb. Especially Pei Yuan and Xiao Hui, they felt as if they had walked through the gates of hell. A matter that shocked Immortal Palace quickly calmed down just like that. The speed at which it calmed down was shocking. They couldn't believe it. Starry Hall. Hu Yidao, Xing Tian, and the others also took a deep breath after hearing the news. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. This matter was similar to what he had guessed. It seemed that his position as Palace Master was stable. Of course, no one rebelled, but it didn't mean that he was free of trouble. Most likely, those people still obeyed his orders on the surface but disobeyed them on the surface. However, there was no rush. He could take it slow. He believed that one day the entire Immortal Palace would submit to him. It was time to move on to the next step. Lin Xian stood up, his eyes flickering. Xing Tian gave him a list of 3 geniuses. One of them, Hu Yidao, had already been subdued by him. As for the remaining 2, he was going to meet them now. Green mountains and clear waters. It was quiet everywhere. A beautiful figure strolled in the forest as if she had walked out of a painting. It was a woman with a beautiful face. She wore a long aqua-green dress. There were terrifying monster kings around, but they crawled on the ground, not daring to move forward at all. They seemed to be afraid of the aqua-green woman. However, after walking for a while, the beautiful woman stopped in her tracks. She frowned. That was because a figure appeared in front of her. "It's you?" The beautiful woman frowned because she recognized the figure in front of her. It was the new Palace Master of Immortal Palace. She didn't care about the other party before, but after the incident with Yang Jian, she specially found information about the new Palace Master. There was a portrait of the other party in the information, so she could recognize him at a glance. "Peacock, come with me." The person in front of her was Lin Xian. He looked at the beautiful woman and said indifferently, "Go with you? Just based on the fact that you killed Yang Jian, this is not enough." Peacock shook her head. Defeat me and I'll go with you. Okay. Make your move. Lin Xian said calmly. Although he knew that Peacock was powerful, he was not afraid. Peacock waved her jade-like hands and the wind and clouds changed. A green palm slapped over like the overturning sky seal, pressing down from the sky. The space around Lin Xian froze in an instant. Clearly this was an ultimate technique. It seemed like the other party knew that he wasn't weak, so he used a powerful ultimate skill right from the start. Facing the giant green palm, Lin Xian waved his sleeve. Black flames surged out and danced. Whoosh. The energy palm above was burned to ashes. Show me your true strength. Let me see how powerful the legendary Peacock is. Lin Xian said coldly. You'll see. Although the attack was broken, Peacock was not surprised. She knew that the other party was not weak since he was able to become the temple master. However, she had absolute confidence in herself. In the next moment she formed a seal with her palms. A green light appeared behind her back and the shadow of a peacock appeared. The beautiful tail slowly spread out. It was like a fairy fan. It was exceptionally beautiful. However, this beauty contained an unparalleled killing intent. Peacock spreading its tail. With an angry roar, the huge tail swept. The black spots on it were like eyes. It was very dreamy. In the sky, countless black rays of light flew out like lightning. They charged towards where Lin Xian was. The void shattered in an instant. The terrifying aura between heaven and earth made people tremble. Lin Xian also frowned. He did not dare to be careless. He could naturally see that the attack was extremely terrifying. Therefore, in the next moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared rapidly. Whoosh! He swung his sword. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of an intense collision was heard. Soon all the black lightning in the sky was shattered. Lin Xian's body flickered as he charged over with the ancient sword in his hand. On the other side, Peacock snorted coldly. A green fan appeared in her hand. She kept waving it as she fought. Both of them were young prodigies. At this moment, the battle was extremely terrifying. Everything within a radius of tens of thousands of miles was enveloped by the storm. Roars rang out, and those powerful demon kings all prostrated themselves on the ground, trembling. On the 100th move, Peacock's eyes suddenly burst out with a green light. It was extremely cold, as if it could pierce through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The shadow of the peacock behind him also spread its tail and swept over. The green light swept out and a shocking murderous aura attacked. Lin Xian's heart beat wildly. He felt that his life was in danger. Therefore, in the next moment, his body flickered and instantly disappeared. As expected, as soon as he left, the void melted. Nothing could withstand the green light. How terrifying. The shadow of the peacock was strange. Lin Xian frowned. He realized that it was not just her king's domain. It also seemed to contain a trace of bloodline power. You guessed right. My ancestor is Mahamayuri, so I have Mahamayuri's bloodline power in my body. Peacock said in a delicate voice. So, it won't be that easy to defeat me. Mahamayuri. Legend has it that it was an extremely terrifying monster king. No wonder. Lin Xian came to a realization. No wonder he felt that the shadow of the peacock was so terrifying. Then Peacock formed another hand seal. Boom. An even more violent force descended from the sky. It was obvious that she had activated her bloodline power. The shadow behind her seemed to have come alive as it spread its wings and flew. A green light swept through the entire world. Even the entire sky was dyed green. Peacock's divine light. This was a secret technique of the peacock race. It was activated with the power of the bloodline. It could be said that it was extremely terrifying when used at this moment. Even if a peerless almighty saw it, their heart would beat wildly and they would not dare to resist it. Lin Xian's expression also changed. He had to admit that the woman in front of him was too powerful. She was not inferior to Hu Yidao at all. Moreover, she had the power of the bloodline, which was even more terrifying. Boom, boom, boom. Those monster kings who were swept by the green light suddenly exploded, turning into a bloody mist that surged in the sky. Nothing could withstand this light. Among them, more light swept toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body swayed as he quickly dodged. However, the light seemed to have locked onto him and followed him closely. Whoosh! The ancient dragon abyss sword was swung, and a shocking sound was heard. The long sword cut off a large piece of green light, but the entire world seemed to be completely covered. Chapter 2391. You can't escape. Although you're the palace master, I won't show you any mercy. Peacock's face was unusually cold and emotionless. Her green eyes once again emitted a shocking light. Is that so? Can't escape? You're making a judgment too early. The show has just begun. Lin Xian didn't dodge at all. He smiled. Then the sword aura on his body exploded and swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The terrifying sword aura rushed out and slashed in all directions. It collided with the green light that filled the sky. Suddenly heaven and earth boiled and huge cracks appeared in the sky. The sword aura was several times stronger than before. On the opposite side, Peacock frowned when she felt the biting cold sword aura. She didn't expect him to have hidden his strength. However, she didn't think that he could resist her bloodline power. After all, he had the bloodline of Mahamayuri. In front of her, the sword aura rolled like an ocean and swept across the sky. The green light scattered endlessly. Peacock's shadow fluttered in the wind and its terrifying tail kept swaying. Their attacks continued to collide in the sky, causing the entire sky to shatter. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The terrifying sword aura exploded again. Boom. The green light was cut in half by the sword and the sharp sword aura slashed towards Peacock. What? He became stronger again. Peacock's expression finally changed when she felt the change. Her body kept swaying and at the same time, the shadow behind her was also emitting light. Finally, it blocked the sword aura that filled the sky. However, her expression was extremely solemn. She didn't expect the opponent's attack to be stronger than hers. It seemed that she had to use that move. She knew that the opponent was very strong, so she had to use a stronger trump card. The shadow behind her swayed its tail and there were thousands of black spots on it that looked like eyes. At this moment, there were even more mysterious runes that were flickering non-stop like a mysterious eye. 1,000 Demon Eye. Peacock's palm kept forming seals and the black spots turned into the Demon King's eye. It spun in the sky and emitted a mysterious power. This is a soul attack. You can't block it. Peacock's voice was cold. Indeed, this was one of her great divine abilities, an extremely powerful eye divination technique attack. Perhaps even a peerless almighty would not dare to resist this eye technique of his. You want to compete with me in ocular techniques? Lin Xian smiled. If he wanted to resist physical attacks, he would have to expend a lot of energy. After all, the other party's bloodline was extremely powerful. However, if they were to compete in eye techniques, he would be able to determine the victor in an instant. Sure enough, in the next moment, a golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Then he quickly activated his heavenly secret god eyes, forming a golden vortex to resist the 1,000 demon eyes. What? How could this be? Seeing the other party's golden eyes, the peacock's eyelids twitched wildly. Then a great fear rose in her heart. Not only that, but her soul was also trembling, as if it was being sucked into a strange space. Damn it. Eye technique. He actually knew eye technique as well. In an instant, Peacock's face turned incomparably pale. She roared madly and activated the 1,000 demon eye with all her might to resist. However, the heavenly secret god eyes was an extremely terrifying eye technique. Although the 1,000 demon purple eye was terrifying, it was still unable to resist the heavenly secret god eyes. Peacock took 3 steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. Her face was extremely pale. Her 1,000 demon purple eye also quickly disappeared. On the other side, the golden light in Lin Xian's eyes dimmed and then returned to normal. "You've lost," he said in a deep voice. Peacock wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, her face filled with unwillingness. "What is your eye technique? Damn it. I can't accept this. You just happened to counter me. Very well, I'll give you another chance to attack." Lin Xian was not angry nor did he care. Because even if he did not use his eye technique, he could still defeat the other party. Hearing this, Peacock quickly swallowed 2 black pills to stop the damage to her soul and heal it. Then she took a deep breath and unleashed all the power in her body to the maximum. The shadow behind her became more solid, as if it was a real divine beast. Boom. Then the 2 of them launched a fierce attack, the terrifying light illuminating the entire sky. Boom. A loud dragon roar came from Lin Xian's body. The sword aura in the sky turned into a giant dragon, fighting with the shadow of Peacock. The momentum was extremely terrifying. Dragon. Peacock was shocked. She could not believe it. She felt an immense pressure from the dragon-shaped phantom. Even the shadow behind him began to tremble. In the end, the shadow of Peacock was suppressed by the real dragon, her face pale. "I've lost." Peacock sighed. She realized that she could not defeat her opponent, be it soul attack or physical attack. However, she accepted her loss wholeheartedly. Because her opponent's strength was too strong, there was no luck at all. "Don't worry, you won't regret following me." Lin Xian smiled. Finally, he had subdued another powerful fighter. Peacock's strength could be said to be very strong. Thinking of this, he smiled happily. Now there was only one prodigy left. Ghostly. An extremely terrifying assassin king. Lin Xian brought Peacock back to the Starry Palace, then he adjusted his body to its peak and set off again. This time he must subdue the last prodigy. When Lin Xian arrived at the place given to him by the Star Pagoda, he frowned, because he realized that there was no one around. However, he was not anxious because Xing Tian had given him 3 places. These 3 places were the places where Ghostly often appeared. Since he was not here, he should be able to find him in the other 2 places. As expected, Lin Xian found him in the 3rd place. However, Lin Xian did not see him, but when he stepped into the 3rd place, goosebumps appeared all over his body. A faintly discernible killing intent locked onto him. Buzz. Suddenly, a ghostly figure appeared behind Lin Xian, the sharp dagger in his hand slashed down quickly. Whoosh. Lin Xian's muscles all stiffened, and with a boom the great dragon sword soul in his body began to operate wildly, a terrifying power surging out. There was an intense collision. Bam! The figure quickly retreated and at the same time, disappeared into the sky. How terrifying! He was not weaker than the assassins of hell. As soon as they exchanged blows, Lin Xian felt that this malicious spirit was indeed terrifying. The other party's assassination and concealment skills were very impressive. However, he had a way to see the other party. Sure enough, in the next moment, the prodigy activated his ability, and golden light surrounded him in all directions. Soon, he saw a faint figure appear in front of him. Found him. Chapter 2392. In the next moment, Lin Xian decisively made his move. One slash. Countless rays of light shone, then turned into an earth-shattering force that spread forward. These sword chi formed a fan shape, completely sealing off the area where Ghostly was. Boom. Ghostly was also shocked. He did not expect his opponent to be able to lock onto him in an instant. He felt the space around him instantly solidify, as if there was an ancient demonic mountain pressing down on him from the sky. With an incomparably sharp aura. Whooshed in the next moment, his body swayed and he suddenly exploded, tearing the void apart. He quickly dodged and avoided this terrifying sword wave. However, Lin Xian's second slash still came. A large black crack appeared in the sky, as if thunder was descending, and the terrifying sword light once again enveloped him. Ghostly snorted coldly. He did not expect his opponent to be able to discover him again and again. This time he was surprised again. But so what? Even if he did not hide, his strength was still very terrifying. Sure enough, in the next moment he waved the black dagger in his hand, and shot out rays of black light that slid across the sky. Boom boom boom. The two collided. Like thunder from the 9th heaven, the sound pierced through the void, and the space around them was torn apart, and the entire ground was shaking rapidly. What a powerful attack. After that attack, Ghostly was even more shocked. Because he realized that his opponent's attack was too sharp, even more terrifying than him, the king of assassins. What a terrifying sword chi, what a terrifying sword Dao. Ghostly's expression was solemn, but he did not admit defeat. White bone banner. Whoosh. In an instant, the world changed and the scenery around them changed instantly. The entire space was as dark as ink. White bones were everywhere and a terrifying murderous aura shot into the sky. For a moment, it was as if they had come to the Ghost Dao world. Ghostly was not only a terrifying assassin, but also a terrifying ghost cultivator. At this moment, when his white bone banner appeared, it was earth-shattering. Countless evil spirits charged towards Lin Xian, and instantly enveloped him. Lin Xian's body exploded with an earth-shattering force, and the terrifying sword wave swept in all directions, destroying all the darkness. Whoosh. But at this moment, a sharp light pierced towards his back. The terrifying aura, even Lin Xian's expression changed. Assassination techniques. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect Ghostly to make a move at this time. Boom. A gigantic goddess of ice appeared on his body. The terrifying power of ice spread out in all directions, freezing everything. As expected, Ghostly's figure slowed down, and his body was covered in frost. He was about to be frozen. Seeing that his assassination had failed, Ghostly roared and retreated again. In the next moment he waved the white bone banner again. Endless resentful spirits roared, and the terrifying ghostly shadows made people's souls tremble. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by an icy aura. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand slashed forward. At this moment he erupted with unparalleled combat strength. With a sweep of his sword, a large number of vengeful spirits were annihilated. Not only that, Lin Xian also used the demigods and semidevils, his speed reaching the extreme as he charged towards Ghostly. Ghostly relied on his movement technique to move, but the demigods and semidevils were truly miraculous. Finally, Lin Xian found an opportunity. He stretched out his left hand, and endless ice condensed into an ice scepter that flickered in the sky. Instantly, thousands of miles were frozen. Ghostly was also frozen. Although it was only for an instant, it was fatal to him. But in the next moment, the ancient dragon abyss sword slashed down mercilessly. Ghostly raised the dagger in his hand and the white bone banner to block. With a clang, he was forced back a few thousand meters and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. The blood in his body churned non-stop. This sword had directly injured him. "Do you still want to fight?" Lin Xian asked coldly. "I haven't lost yet." Ghostly gritted his teeth and waved the white bone banner again. At the same time his king's domain rushed out, covering the entire sky. Buzz. Cold winds blew in all directions and countless vengeful spirits crawled out. The ground beneath their feet cracked open and many white bone creatures emerged. Endless resentful spirits circled in the air, and it was all very terrifying. Ghostly aura filled the sky, and the terrifying army of vengeful spirits quickly charged over. Some even spat out poisonous fog and the entire space was dark. This scene was too terrifying. It was as if millions of resentful spirits were moving out, and they firmly locked onto Lin Xian. Lin Xian let out a long roar, and the destruction sword formation covered the surroundings. Streaks of blood-red sword chi rushed up, turning into a sea of blood in the air, roaring in all directions. Boom, boom. The sea of blood and the mountain of corpses collided, and a shocking rainbow erupted. The scene between heaven and earth was tragic. At the same time, Lin Xian's fingers kept forming seals, and the Hell's Ice Lotus quickly flew out, spreading in all directions. At the same time he also shot out black fire dragons roaring in all directions. The flames roared and the ice spread, slaughtering the millions of resentful spirits. "It's useless, my flames completely restrained you," Lin Xian said coldly. On the other side, Ghost Li's face was gloomy. He could see that it was indeed so. If this continued, his white bone banner would probably be destroyed. Therefore in the next moment he snorted coldly and stopped attacking. The white bone banner also quickly entered his body. "Not fighting anymore?" Lin Xian asked. On the opposite side, Ghostly said coldly. "There's still one last attack. If you can take it, I'll admit defeat." As he said that, his domain rolled quickly and endless black gas spread. Then a black dagger appeared in midair, wrapped in endless black gas. The Shadow Blade. It wasn't a real weapon, but a strange world of death that Ghostly connected to through his own secret technique and domain. It was summoned from inside. Although it was an illusion, it was extremely terrifying. Buzz. In the next moment, Ghostly held the Shadow Blade. The murderous aura on his body suddenly erupted, and it was several times stronger than before. Buzz. With a swing of the blade, a terrifying light swept forward. This attack was too terrifying, especially the murderous aura contained in it. It could definitely make an almighty collapse in an instant. Even a peerless almighty would not dare to take it head-on. Not only that, as the Shadow Blade was swung, a terrifying crack appeared in the void. What was even more strange was that there was blood flowing out from this crack. It was extremely strange. An illusion attack? Lin Xian was surprised. He was very familiar with this, because his great dragon sword soul was like this. It was just a sword shadow, but its power was much more terrifying than a real weapon. In the next moment he waved his arm, and the great dragon sword soul in his body rushed out. In front of him, it condensed into a dragon-shaped sword shadow. He grabbed it with one hand. It slashed forward. The biting cold sword light roared like an angry dragon, colliding with the terrifying black light in the sky. Boom boom boom. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Energy exploded. The collision between the two was destructive. However, the black light wave emitted by the Shadow Blade cracked. Then it cracked and turned into endless ghost chi. What? It was broken. How could it be? Ghostly was shocked when he saw this scene. Oh. He quickly retreated and spat out a mouthful of blood. No. He couldn't believe it. This was a powerful attack summoned from the world of death. It was extremely terrifying. Even a peerless almighty might not be able to resist it. However, the opponent's sword shadow directly shattered his attack. Chapter 2393. What's that sword shadow? It doesn't seem to be a physical weapon. Could it be the same type as my shadow blade? He didn't expect that the other party would have a divine ability cultivation method similar to his. More importantly, the strength of the other party's phantom was much stronger than his. The aura it emitted made him feel suffocated. In the next moment, Ghostly took a deep breath and didn't attack again. Instead, he knelt on one knee and said respectfully, "Greetings, Temple Master." He had long recognized the other party. It was just that he wasn't convinced before. Now that he was defeated by Lin Xian, he was convinced of his loss and was naturally willing to submit. Looking at this scene, Lin Xian smiled. He knew that he had already subdued Ghostly. At this point, the three great experts that Xing Tian gave him had all been subdued. Of course, there were countless geniuses and experts in Immortal Palace. The rest still needed to be subdued slowly. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and left with Ghostly. In the following days he lived in seclusion. In addition to continuing to understand Immortal Palace, he began to use Immortal Palace's resources to cultivate Immortal Palace's cultivation methods. As for Xing Tian, Hu Yidao, and the others, they were in charge of training the 500 young cultivators that he had subdued. Of course, there were also matters big and small in Immortal Palace that required Lin Xian's help. However, Lin Xian only needed to make a decision. As for the specific matters, of course, it was up to his subordinates to do it. Young Master, according to the news from below, the Great Xia dynasty has discovered an ancient tomb. It seems to be an ancient tomb passed down by a saint. It has caused a stir in the entire Jianghu. Not only that, but the eastern wilderness, western desert, southern ridge and northern plains sacred grounds have also sent out experts. They're all here? Hearing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect that a saint's tomb would appear in Jianghu. Indeed, many of them had come. Moreover, the recent news of the nest of 10,000 dragons in Jianghu had attracted those sacred grounds and peerless sections. Even the clan of the ancients had come. Young Master, should we go and take a look too? Xing Tian asked. Of course. The saint's tomb is full of good stuff. Also, I want to meet these sacred grounds and great sects. Go and prepare, gather some people. That's right, the black demon ship should be more or less repaired. Lin Xian asked. After he became the palace lord, he handed the black demon ship over to Immortal Palace and had the people inside repair it. After all, the black demon ship was a pseudo-heaven step artifact. It had already been repaired. Furthermore, its might had also been increased. It seemed that it was time to show off. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. In the next few days, Xing Tian began his preparations. He had to go. Hu Yidao, Peacock and Ghostly were also tagging along. Out of the remaining 500 people, he picked out 100 elites. Apart from this, there were a few attendants and elders from Immortal Palace, all of them older generation figures. There weren't many deacons, only a few dozen and only 3 elders. There were only 200 people in total, which was indeed not a lot. But every one of them was an elite. Moreover, they were only going to check out the situation first. If they were really going to enter the great saint's tomb or encounter other dangers, they would have to leave. They could transfer people at any time. After all, they also had branches in the Grand Xia Empire. Whoosh! Lin Xian stood in front of a treasure vault. There were 2 golden doors in front of him, exuding a barbaric aura. He pushed it open forcefully and entered. Rays of light were emitted from inside. It was very dazzling. It was full of treasures. This was Immortal Palace's treasure vault, and it was one of them. Lin Xian could use all the resources in there, but he wouldn't use all of them. After all the experts in Immortal Palace needed the resources in there. Lin Xian took some divine crystals and some materials. Among them, he took a few formations that had already been set up and handed the remaining materials to the dark red divine dragon. During this period, the dark red divine dragon had not been idle. It had been excited ever since it obtained Immortal Palace's treasure vault. It had read a lot of ancient books in there. They were all related to formations which could be used to improve its attainments and formations. The formations that it created now were much more powerful than before. Lin Xian had not stopped cultivating during this period. Coupled with the resources from Immortal Palace, his cultivation had also improved by leaps and bounds. Now he had reached the peak of early 7 stars. In addition to the materials and formations, he also took 2 spatial scrolls. This was equivalent to a small spatial teleportation formation. It could shatter the void and bring them out of danger. Finally, Lin Xian took a cultivation method and planned to study it when he was free. This was a heaven-rank cultivation method called the 5-element sword. It could be cultivated with 5 types of sword qi, which could be converted at will. It could be said to be both offensive and defensive, and its power was also very terrifying. After receiving the 5-element sword, Lin Xian left Immortal Palace's treasure vault. In addition, Hu Yidao, Peacock, Ghost Li, and the 100 selected warriors also used their contribution points to exchange for resources in the treasure vault. 2 days later they set off. In the sky, a black ship floated. It was incomparably dark, as if it had crossed time and space from the demon world. This was the Black Demon ship, and it was a modified one. Not only were the damaged parts repaired, but its power was also more terrifying than before. Its appearance had also changed. It was more majestic than before, and there were even runes of Immortal Palace on it. Let's go. Lin Xian's body swayed, and he took the lead to soar into the sky. Behind him, Xing Tian and the dark red divine dragon followed. Behind them were Hu Yidao, Peacock, and Ghost Li. There were also 3 elders and a few dozen deacons. Apart from them, there were the 100 young warriors. They did not expect to be able to explore the ancient tomb with the palace master this time. They were extremely excited. As for the remaining 400 people who were not selected, they worked even harder in their cultivation so that they could be selected next time. The Black Demon ship was very big and luxurious. There were all kinds of palaces, secret cultivation rooms, and places for sightseeing. Therefore, even if they had to fly for a month or 2, they would not feel bored. Moreover, these people were prepared to go into seclusion almost as soon as they boarded, cultivating and increasing their cultivation strength. Xing Tian, when we reach Ninli Dynasty, remind me that I have something to do. Lin Xian said in a deep voice, a hint of sharpness in his eyes. Yes. Xing Tian nodded. Lin Xian entered the room, set up a formation, and then sat down with his legs crossed. He slowly opened the jade scroll and began to study the 5-element sword. Lin Xian only had the 3 attributes of ice, fire, and lightning. He did not have the water, earth, or wood attributes. However, that was not a problem. His great dragon sword soul could instantly simulate the attributes of the 5 elements, so he did not have to worry about that. Next, he began to comprehend the 5-element sword. Chapter 2394. On the other side, Hu Yidao, Peacock, and Ghost Li were also cultivating in seclusion. The 100 people on the ship were assigned different tasks. Some were responsible for guarding, some were responsible for maintaining order, and some were responsible for scouting the surroundings. Apart from that, there were also some servants with low cultivation bases on the ship. They were responsible for cleaning, cooking, and so on. The 3 elders and the deacons began to study the various information they had obtained. After all this time, not only the Immortal Palace, but many peerless sects and sacred grounds had also come. Moreover, not only Zhongzhou but the powerhouses from the Eastern Wilderness, Western Desert, Southern Ridge, and Northern Plains had also come. It could be said that this was a flourishing period. However, the competition would probably be extremely intense. After about 10 days, Xing Tian came over and said in a deep voice, "Young master, we've arrived at the Ninli Dynasty." Hearing that, Lin Xian put away the jade slip, stood up and walked out of the door. Then he went to the deck and looked down. He was finally back. A few months ago he was chased by countless people from here and engaged in an intense battle. If he did not have so many trump cards he would have been killed long ago. Now that he was back, he naturally wanted to take revenge. The governor's mansion, the Teng family, the Tai dynasty, and the war tribe, he would not let any of them off. However, he had to deal with the Teng family and the people from the Ninli dynasty first. Go to the governor's mansion first. Lin Xian ordered. Soon, these people turned the ship around and sailed in the direction of the governor's mansion. Qianshan City. The incident last time had gradually subsided, and Qianshan City had returned to normal. However, on this day, a huge spirit ship appeared above Qianshan City. It slowly descended like a dark cloud, projecting below. Soon, countless people raised their heads and looked at the sky, exclaiming in surprise. That was because the aura on the black ship was so terrifying that they could not breathe. This scene naturally attracted the attention of the governor's mansion. Immediately, a few powerhouses from the governor's mansion rushed up. That was because they did not know who the other party was and why they had come to Qianshan City. Therefore they had to find out. Because of the incident with young Master Qianshan, they did not dare to be careless anymore. Just as they were about to snort coldly, a black palm shadow descended from the sky. It was like a huge palm that covered the sky, slapping down fiercely. Oh. Below, a few city lords' mansion cultivators roared crazily. They all fled. They didn't expect that the other party would launch a direct attack right from the start. What was he up to this time? Starting a war with the city lord's mansion? Who was it? How could he be so bold? Boom. Several martial artists wanted to escape, but they could not escape at all. Under this immense power, their bodies split apart and turned into a bloody mist. That enormous black palm blasted towards the city lord's mansion with an even more ferocious attitude. Heavens, what happened? Everyone in Qianshan City was shocked when they saw this. The weaker ones were directly pressed to the ground by this aura, while the stronger ones turned pale and their bodies trembled. Someone actually dared to make a move against the city lord's mansion? This was too shocking. The warriors in the city lord's mansion also came out one after another. They could feel a powerful aura descending towards them. Soon they raised their heads, and when they saw the huge hand that covered the sky, their pupils shrank. Quick! Activate the defensive formation. The city lord's mansion's array formation lit up, and rays of light shot into the sky. The protective formation appeared, completely enveloping the entire city lord's mansion. This formation emitted a bright light, forming the most powerful defense. Clang! The black hand that covered the sky collided with the formation, causing a thunderous collision. The surrounding void cracked open, and lightning from the ninth heaven descended, bombarding all directions. All the warriors in the city were knocked to the ground. This scene was truly too terrifying. Damn it, who was it? Those warriors in the city lord's mansion also felt the world shaking, and their faces were gloomy. However, in the next moment they screamed because cracks had appeared on their protective formation. And more. Ka. The sound of shattering rang out, and then more than half of the formation cracked and shattered. The terrifying palms slapped down again. Inside the city lord's mansion, the ground cracked open, and the buildings turned into ashes. Countless warriors turned into a bloody mist. This blow directly smashed half of the city lord's mansion. A series of screams sounded, and a huge roar rolled, and the airwaves rushed into the sky. Those elders roared crazily. Damn it, who was it? How dare you attack my city lord's mansion? In the deepest part of the city lord's mansion, the city lord and a few elders also rushed over. The city lord's face was gloomy, and he gnashed his teeth in anger. Half of his city lord's mansion was destroyed, and it was unforgivable. No matter who you are, you're dead meat. He was really mad. One had to know that he was not only a powerhouse, but he was also the city lord of Qianshan City. Moreover, his city lord was personally conferred by the Ninely dynasty. Whoever dared to make a move on him was ignoring the authority of the Ninely dynasty. This was declaring war on the dynasty. He couldn't understand who it was that was so audacious. But no matter who it was, the other party was dead meat. A cold laugh came from the black ship above. Who am I? Why have you forgotten me in such a short time? This voice carried endless coldness. Hearing this voice, everyone's scalp went numb. The city lord and other warriors below also frowned, because they realized that this was a young voice. Had they offended anyone? Immediately, a chill rose in the hearts of several elders, seeming to have thought of something. They said tremblingly, "Could it be that the kid came back?" "What, that kid? Are you talking about that little demon king?" "Impossible, right? Wasn't he being hunted down?" These people discussed quickly. However, in the next moment their eyeballs almost popped out, because they saw a young figure descending from above, suspended in mid-air. "It's really you?" When they saw the other party, they cried out in surprise, because they discovered that it was really that demon king. Not only did the other party not die, but he was also full of vigor. Even the aura on his body was stronger than before. "God, the other party is here for revenge. Damn kid, I'm going to kill you." The city lord was furious. Killing intent surged from his body, his black hair fluttering, and his entire person was incomparably hideous. There was no choice, it was this kid in front of him who killed his son. Not only that, he even killed countless experts of his city lord's mansion. How could he tolerate this? In the next moment, he roared angrily and quickly rushed to the sky, his body erupting with endless light. A terrifying aura surged, turning into a surging river, directly rushing towards Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, all the warriors in Qianshan City cried out in surprise. Chapter 2395. Heavens, this is too terrifying. They knew that the city lord was a peerless almighty. At this moment, when he attacked with all his might, it was really terrifying. That vast aura made them feel like they were suffocating. Can that kid block it? Who knows? That kid is very terrifying. Back then so many powerhouses chased after him but he escaped. Now that he's still alive and kicking, it shouldn't be difficult for him to block it. Discussions sounded one after another. Above, Lin Xian looked at the city lord and narrowed his eyes. Then a terrifying aura erupted from his body, and sword chi filled the sky. Sword chi flashed, and the aura emitted from Lin Xian's body was like a divine rainbow, cutting through the void. The terrifying aura directly slashed forward. What a powerful sword chi. The city lord was also shocked, and his pupils constricted. He did not expect the other party's aura to be so strong. No wonder he could escape the pursuit of so many powerhouses. But so what? This time I must kill him. Boom. The city lord's body erupted with a piercing cold light. On his glabella, there was an incomparably terrifying rune. It was like a small sword with peerless killing intent. With this small sword as the center, countless mysterious runes flickered around the city lord, covering heaven and earth. When this terrifying scene appeared, many warriors in Qianshan City were shocked. They looked at this scene and widened their eyes. Is this a killing formation? Heavens, the city lord is actually using his body as a formation. This is too terrifying. Using his body as a formation. Hearing this, Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. Sure enough, looking at the other party's appearance, he had indeed formed a terrifying formation. However, it was different from ordinary formations. Ordinary formations were controlled by warriors. But this time, the city lord directly turned into a formation. It could be said to be incomparably strange. Kid, be careful. That guy doesn't seem to be simple. Above, on the black demon ship, the dark red dragon also transmitted a voice. He was a formation master. If he said it was not simple, it naturally meant that the formation was incomparably dangerous. After Lin Xian heard, he snorted coldly. No matter what kind of killing formation it was, he was not afraid. In the next moment he pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed out. The sword chi was like a rainbow as it flashed rapidly in the sky, forming countless sword lights that pressed forward. The sword chi that filled the sky seemed to have turned into a world of its own. It was extremely terrifying. You're no match for me. Scarlet feather killing formation, destroy. The city lord roared, and the red rune on his forehead trembled rapidly. The Tao inscriptions in the surroundings spun rapidly, forming streaks of divine rainbows that shot into the sky. Boom, boom. The collision between the two was extremely terrifying. A crack that was close to 10,000 meters wide appeared in the sky, as if the sky had been split in half. It was extremely terrifying. Large amounts of rain and lightning poured down from the crack. Lin Xian snorted coldly and exploded with an incomparably cold light. This time he was here for revenge. He had no intention of wasting time with the other party. Therefore he immediately activated his heavenly secret god eyes. Not only that, but the great dragon sword soul also emerged from his body, forming a sword shadow which he grasped in his hand. Floating light. The left eye of the heavenly secret divine eyes turned into a floating light that surged forward. The soul energy passed through the formation and directly affected the city lord. The city lord's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with confusion. In the next moment he bit his tongue and forced himself out of the illusion, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. However, it was too late. At this moment, Lin Xian waved the dragon sword in his hand. Boom. The sword slashed the city lord's body, and the terrifying scarlet feather killing formation was mercilessly torn apart. Damn it, block it for me. Seeing this, the city lord roared crazily, and the spiritual energy in his body quickly circulated. It even started to burn. The sky was filled with red light and countless runes shone, forming a solid barrier. However, it was useless. Under this sword, everything was turned into ashes. The city lord was also sent flying. The 2 layers of armor on his body were directly broken, and his chest caved in. A large amount of blood spilled out like snow. His body landed heavily on the ground below the city lord's mansion, creating a terrifying crater on the ground. What? The city lord was defeated. Everyone was stunned, including the martial artists in Qianshan City. The martial artists in the city lord's mansion were dumbfounded. How was this possible? The city lord used his ultimate move, the scarlet feather killing formation. He turned his body into a terrifying sword formation, which could be said to be extremely terrifying. He could also be invincible against a peerless almighty. However, he was easily injured by the other party's sword. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. Damn it, how was this possible? The city lord crawled out of the crater covered in blood. His expression was extremely ugly. He didn't expect the other party to be so terrifying. Especially that sword shadow which made his hair stand on end. Moreover, the other party was actually a soul power expert, and that eye technique was impossible to guard against. Lin Xian snorted coldly and looked below. He waved the Dragon Abyss ancient sword again, and a terrifying sword chi would be released. What? He still wants to fight? The expressions of the people in the city lord's mansion changed, and even the city lord was serious. He didn't expect the other party to still want to attack. Did he really want to kill him? But what a joke. If he killed him, would the Ninely dynasty let him go? So in the next moment he dodged and roared. Damn brat, stop. Stop. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Give me a reason to stop. You can't kill me, I'm the city lord of Thousand Mountain City. I was personally conferred the title by the emperor of the Ninely dynasty. If you kill me, you'll be ignoring the emperor's prestige and challenging the Ninely dynasty's imperial power. The Ninely dynasty won't let you go. So what? Lin Xian's voice was cold and he wasn't moved at all. Not to mention that he was now the lord of Immortal Palace. Even if he was alone in the past, he wouldn't be afraid of such a threat. One had to know that he dared to provoke the war race, and he dared to go against the Tai dynasty, let alone the Ninely dynasty. So in the next moment, Lin Xian attacked mercilessly. The dragon-shaped sword chi shone in the sky, and then the dragon tail swayed and rushed down. Sky-shattering. When the dragon-shaped sword chi came close to the city lord, it directly shattered the sky. The entire void shattered, forming a terrifying black hole that enveloped the city lord. Boom, boom, boom. The black hole kept getting bigger and bigger, spreading rapidly like a giant beast. The surrounding people of the city lord's mansion fled frantically. However, most of them were directly swallowed up. Not only that, the surrounding buildings, land and space were completely swallowed up. The entire city lord's mansion became a black hole that was extremely dark. After a long time it slowly shrank. And there was nothing left in the original place, only a bottomless pit. The city lord's mansion was destroyed. The city lord was killed. The other martial artists in Thousand Mountain City looked at this scene, and their scalps went numb. They knew that this should be the end of the world. Because no one had ever dared to be so bold. Lin Xian put away the ancient sword, stepped into the air and came to the black demon ship. Let's go to the Ting family. Chapter 2396. It was not until a long time after the black demon ship disappeared that the cultivators of Chenshan City dared to stand up. They looked at the deep pit in front of them in horror, not daring to speak for a long time. On the other side, the black demon ship flew at an extremely fast speed in the direction of the Ting family. A day later, the black demon ship stopped again. This was because they had arrived at the Ting family. The Ting family was not in any city. Instead, they occupied a spiritual mountain by themselves. After all, the Ting family was an invincible king clan. Their strength and status were much higher than the city lord's mansion. Therefore, they naturally occupied a better spiritual vein. In front of them, mountains were everywhere and surrounded by white fog. It was a fairyland. In the mountain range there were countless palaces and pavilions. The surroundings seemed calm, but Lin Xian and the others could naturally feel that there was a terrifying formation inside. However, it was only the outer formation and could not trap Lin Xian and the others at all. Therefore, the black demon ship directly drove out and rampaged. When they arrived in front, a ray of light shot into the sky. However, it was difficult to resist the power of the black demon legacy. In an instant, the formation shattered and scattered in all directions like a mirror. Soon, the black demon ship flew into the depths of the mountains without restraint. Finally, they stopped. In front of them was a mountain gate. It was very majestic. Under the mountain gate, there were 4 disciples of the Ting family guarding it. At this moment, they felt this change and raised their heads one after another. Then their expressions changed drastically. Not good. There were enemies. They were too shocked. To be honest, an important place like a mountain gate would usually be heavily guarded. However, in the Ting family there were only 4 people. This was because they were very confident that no one would dare to behave atrociously in the Ting family. But now the situation was beyond their expectations. One of them quickly soared into the sky and flew towards the mountains. It seemed that he was going to inform the others. The other 3 drew their sabers and swords and pointed upwards. One of them sneered. "Who are you? How dare you barge into the Ting family?" One slash. On the black demon ship, Lin Xian looked at this scene and shouted coldly. Whoosh. Hui Dao stood up. His figure flashed and he appeared in the sky. With a clang, the full moon saber at his waist slashed out. The saber light was hazy like a full moon, emitting a terrifying aura. In an instant, the majestic mountain gate below was split into two halves. Not only that, but the bodies of the three Ting family cultivators also split open in an instant, and they fell into a pool of blood. This saber strike was simply too astonishing. Not only was the mountain gate destroyed, but the ground was also split open. A huge crack appeared and extended inwards. It was as if a huge earthquake had occurred. Rumbling sounds could be heard. This finally caught the Ting family's attention. Suddenly, countless lights lit up in the mountains. One figure after another soared into the sky. It was accompanied by angry roars. "Damn it, who is it? How dare you cause trouble in the Tang family?" Countless silhouettes rushed out. There were at least a few hundred people. One could imagine how terrifying the Tang clan was. Damn it, the mountain gate was actually destroyed. These people soared into the air. When they saw the scene before them, their faces turned extremely ugly. Their mountain gate had actually been directly hacked apart by someone. This was a blatant provocation. In the Ninely dynasty, no one dared to provoke the Ting family like this. "Damn it, who the hell are you?" An old man shouted coldly. He looked at the pitch-black ship in front of him and frowned. This was because the aura it emitted was too terrifying. However, a cold snort sounded from the void. "Where's your clan leader? Tell him to get over here and die." "What? Tell our clan leader to get over here and die? Who in the world dares to say such a thing?" These Ting family cultivators were so angry that their bodies trembled. The old man even shouted coldly, "Go catch him. Let's see what ability he has to say such a thing." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 4 rays of light flew over quickly like a meteor shower. These were 4 mighty figures. At this moment they attacked together. 4 sky-covering hands enveloped the sky, wanting to catch Hui Dao. However, Hui Dao sneered. Streams of light flowed on his body, and the full moon scimitar in his hand emitted a terrifying light. Subsequently he slashed out with his saber. The saber light flickered in the air, cutting through the void and slashing at the 4 sky-covering hands in the sky. Buff, buff, buff. In an instant, the 4 sky-covering hands were slashed apart. Not only that, but the arms of the 4 powerhouses were also directly cut off. The 4 mighty figures held their broken arms and quickly retreated. Their faces were filled with horror. Behind them, the Ting family's cultivators were stunned. Heavens! Who exactly is this young man in front of me? He actually cut off the hands of 4 mighty figures with one slash. Isn't this too terrifying? He's definitely a peerless genius. But which faction is he from? How dare he behave atrociously in our territory? They did not attack again. The old man took a step forward and snorted coldly. "I'll ask you again, who exactly are you?" The other party only sent a young man. However, the strength that he displayed was too powerful. He had to be careful. "I'm the one who'll kill you." Hui Dao snorted coldly and said coldly, "I've said it before, tell your clan leader to get over here and die. You're courting death. Brat, don't think that you can behave atrociously here just because you have some ability. The Tang family is not a place where you can come to." The old man was furious. He quickly attacked. A fist pierced through the void and blasted toward Hui Dao. The air instantly exploded and a terrifying airwave surged. It did not look like a fist at all. Instead, it was like an ancient demonic mountain. The sound that came from it was too terrifying. It shook the world, causing it to tremble rapidly. Hui Dao did not resist it head-on. His body swayed as he quickly dodged. In the sky, the terrifying fist followed his movements and chased after him relentlessly. Seeing this, Hui Dao frowned and stopped in his tracks. His body emitted a terrifying light, and the full moon scimitar in his hand also erupted. Waves of light were so bright that people could not open their eyes. Buzz! With a swing of his saber, the full moon scimitar slashed forward and collided with the huge fist in the sky. A shocking earth-shattering sound erupted. It was as if someone had shaken the entire space. The sound was too intense, causing the Ting family's cultivators behind to tremble. Many of them were bleeding from their ears. In the sky, the terrifying saber light and the huge fist disappeared at the same time. Hui Dao stood proudly. On the other hand, the Ting family's elder's face changed drastically. How's that possible? The fact that the other party was actually able to contend against him was simply too surprising. The other party was only a young brat, whereas he was a figure who had lived for thousands of years. Could it be that the other party is already so powerful? he did not dare to imagine. Nevertheless, 3 middle-aged men rushed over from behind. Their auras were also unparalleled. The 3 of them said together, "Elder, we're here to help you." As soon as the 3 of them appeared, they charged toward Hu Yidao with powerful forces. Chapter 2397. Elder, let us help you. As soon as the 3 of them appeared, they charged toward Hu Yidao with a powerful force. At the same time the elder attacked again. For a time the 4 of them suppressed Hu Yidao. However, it was difficult for them to hurt Hu Yidao. At this moment, a cold snort came from the black ship again. 4 against 1, what kind of ability is that? I'll accompany you if you dare. Whoosh! A green figure appeared in the sky. It was a beautiful woman wearing a long green dress. As soon as she appeared, a peacock appeared behind her and spread its beautiful feathers. Thousands of green divine lights shone like meteors, directly enveloping the front. Boom boom boom. The 3 middle-aged mighty figures were sent flying and vomited blood. The elder also kept retreating, but there was a huge shield in front of him that blocked the impact of the energy. Although he was not injured, his face was extremely ugly. Another young man has come. A young genius who is equally terrifying. Damn it, what kind of force is this? How can there be so many young geniuses? Could it be a peerless sect or a peerless sacred ground? Or perhaps some royal family? He could not think of any other family that could be so terrifying. However, the elder snorted coldly, and his face was extremely gloomy. Do you think you can beat the Teng family in terms of numbers? He was furious. Indeed, this was the Teng family's territory, and it was not that the Teng family did not have any powerhouses. Moreover, with so many powerhouses, he did not believe that he could not kill the other party. Soon, the Teng family's martial artists behind also rushed forward. Not only that, but there were even more powerhouses coming from all directions. They surrounded Hu Yidao and Peacock. How dare you act so atrociously in the Teng family? You're courting death. Kill him and let him know the power of the Teng family. Angry roars came one after another. Then, the purple-clothed elder waved his hand and immediately, all the powerhouses around him attacked crazily. Hu Yidao snorted coldly, and his body emitted a terrifying saber light as he attacked crazily. The saber lights were like the Milky Way, slashing in all directions. On the other side, Peacock also used her bloodline power, and the shadow behind her became more and more powerful. The 1,000 devil eyes appeared, forming a terrifying soul attack. Many people were affected. I'll play with you guys too. Right at this moment, an icy cold voice sounded. Soon, a blurry shadow appeared behind the 2 old men. Buff, buff. Black light flashed and 2 heads flew up. The corpses of the 2 old men fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, everyone went crazy, a chill running down their backs. As for the purple-clothed old man, he was also roaring madly. Damn it, be careful, there's an assassin. They didn't expect that there would be such a terrifying assassin among them. It really shocked them. Sure enough, no one dared to be careless. They quickly activated their battle armors, and the defensive light in front of them completely covered their bodies. The third to make a move was naturally ghostly. After he ambushed a few experts, he waved his hand and shot out the white bone banner rice. The white bone banner waved, and a cold wind blew in the surroundings. The world darkened. Countless vengeful spirits quickly appeared. There were even mountains of skeletons and a terrifying army of death charging over. For a moment, the world collapsed. It was extremely terrifying. On the black demon ship above, Lin Xian and the others sneered as they looked down. They didn't need to do anything at all. Hu Yidao and the other 2 could handle it. Sure enough, about half an hour later, the world returned to normal. The Teng family's martial artists retreated one after another. Most of them were injured and many of them were directly killed. Hu Yidao, Peacock, and Ghostly stood in the void, and the aura on their bodies became stronger. The Teng family was just SOSO. Peacock snorted coldly. Ghostly's eyes lit up. Not bad, not bad. This time I'll be able to absorb a lot of powerful vengeful spirits. Indeed, he waved the white bone banner and absorbed the souls and blood essence of those killed. On the opposite side, the Teng family's people had extremely ugly expressions. Especially the purple-clothed old man who was the leader. He was so angry that his body trembled. There was a saber mark on his body that almost cut off his arm. At this moment, he covered his wound and gritted his teeth as he asked, "Damn it, who are you people?" He was too shocked. 3 young men had beaten them to the point that they couldn't fight back. They didn't dare to imagine it at all. These three people are all top prodigies. What kind of force could produce so many terrifying young prodigies? I said, get your clan leader here to die. Hui Dao pointed his saber forward and said coldly, damn it. This is too much. The purple-clothed old man roared angrily. The surrounding Ting family's martial artists were also trembling with anger. A few of the old ones vomited blood. It was too sullen. The Ting family had never been provoked like this. However, they really couldn't win. Therefore, they could only ask for help from the family. Whoosh! The purple-clothed old man waved his hand, and a black rune quickly flew to the family. Boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, countless powerful figures rushed out from the family. Each of them was like a demon god as they stepped on the air. This time, all of the people who came were of the elder rank. Their auras were terrifying. At this moment, it was as if 100,000 mountains had shattered the void. This time, 10 elders came and each of them was unusually terrifying. Especially the two at the front, they were even more valiant. They had definitely reached the level of a peerless powerhouse. Great elder, you're here. When the purple-clothed old man saw this, he was overjoyed. The other people smiled as well. They knew the Ting family was truly furious. This time they sent 10 elders at once. They thought that they could definitely suppress the other party. Who are you? How dare you cause trouble in the Tang family? The 10 elders looked around. When they saw the scene around them, their faces were terrifyingly dark. This time, before Hu Yidao and the others could speak, Lin Xian scoffed on the big black ship. Whoosh! His body swayed and he quickly landed in front of them. The dark red divine dragon and Xing Tian were also with him. The others stood on the big black ship and did not come down. Nevertheless, as long as Lin Xian gave the order, these people would immediately make a move. Why? Have you forgotten about me so quickly? After Lin Xian arrived in front of them, he sneered. Hu Yidao, Peacock, and Ghostly stood behind him respectfully. So this is our leader? Upon seeing this, the faces of the Ting family's martial artists changed. It seemed like the other party's leader had come out. Nonetheless, what shocked them was that the other party's leader was so young. They could not believe it. Chapter 2398. What? Damn brat. It's actually you? How could you still be alive? They were too shocked because they recognized each other. Wasn't he being hunted down by the war tribe and countless powerhouses of the Tai dynasty? How could he still be alive? Moreover, he has such powerful subordinates. Damn it, who exactly is this brat? They were extremely shocked. It seemed that the other party's identity was not simple. You recognize me? That's easy. Lin Xian sneered. Are you willing to kneel and die, or are you prepared to be cut into pieces? I'll give you a choice. Kneel down obediently and I'll give you a quick death. What? You want to kill us? Hearing this, the cultivators of the Ting family were furious. The elders also snorted coldly. Brat, although I don't know how you survived and I don't know what kind of power you have. However, you're too naive to attack the Ting family. Let me tell you, the Ting family is an invincible family. Do you think you can contend against the invincible kings of our family? The invincible kings are indeed very strong, but I don't need to contend against them. I just need to kill you. Where's your patriarch? Tell him to come and die. Lin Xian knew that the patriarch must have agreed to the pursuit of those powerhouses last time. Therefore, he wanted to kill the patriarch and the 10 elders in front of him. Only then would it be considered revenge. What? You want to kill our patriarch? You're courting death. At this moment, an elder stood out. His body emitted a powerful aura. Terrifying energy surged in all directions. Brat, I'll kill you first. This was the third elder of the other party. His strength was terrifying and he was almost a peerless powerhouse. At this moment he stood out with a monstrous aura. In the next moment he threw a punch. The terrifying power shattered the void and directly rushed towards Lin Xian, wanting to kill him. Sensing this power, the cultivators of the Teng family trembled, but their eyes were filled with excitement. This was because they felt that this power was not much different from that of a peerless powerhouse. He won't be able to resist. You're courting death. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite. Lin Xian sneered and raised his palm. The azure dragon hand condensed in his hand, and countless sword chi surrounded his fingertips. In the next moment he slapped it. Boom. This palm contained the power of the great dragon sword soul and was extremely powerful. Therefore he was able to blast the terrifying fist away with a single slap. Not only that, the azure dragon palm enveloped the third elder and smashed him into a bloody mist. Boom. Blood filled the air, splattering everywhere. Countless cracks appeared in the terrifying space as a black hole rapidly spread out. Upon seeing this, the Ting family's martial artists were dumbfounded. What? The third elder was killed? He was killed by a single palm strike. How could this be? An expert who was going to become a peerless almighty was killed with a single palm strike? Who was this kid? They trembled at the thought. How could this be? Why was the other party so powerful? Was the other party already a peerless almighty? Damn it, I'm going to kill you. At this moment, the other two elders also roared in anger. They pulled out their swords and sabers, and the light on their bodies quickly erupted. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Golden runes flickered as he activated the soul-burning secret technique. Immediately, the two of them screamed. Fifth elder. Sixth elder. When the Ting family's martial artists saw this, they roared crazily. What did the other party do? How did the other party make the two elders scream crazily with just a glance? What kind of technique was that? Nonetheless, what shocked them was yet to come. That was because the fifth elder and the sixth elder's bodies suddenly stopped trembling. Their eyes were blank and had lost their luster. Bang! In the next moment, the two of them fell from the sky and landed on the ground, creating two deep pits. Elders! They roared crazily. Countless Taoists flew down and saved the two of them. However, their scalps went numb in the next moment. This was because the two elders had long stopped breathing. They were dead. The two elders were killed by a single glance from the other party. Oh God, they retreated crazily. Some of the more timid ones' legs went weak and they even wet their pants. This was because this technique was too terrifying. They had never seen it before. This was probably how an invincible king killed someone. The other elders were also shocked. They widened their eyes in disbelief. Who exactly was the other party? They did not know that although it was just a glance, Lin Xian had used all of his strength. In addition to the power of the heavenly secret god eyes, he could naturally kill the two elders. What he wanted was to strike like thunder and completely shock these people. What do you think? Now, do you think I'm qualified to fight against the Ting family? Lin Xian said indifferently. Now, the remaining elders, kneel down and ask your patriarch to come out and kneel to accept your death. I can spare the rest of the Ting family. His voice was like thunder, striking everyone's hearts. The Ting family's martial artists' mouths and tongues were dry, and their bodies were cold. Those who were weak directly lay on the ground with pale faces. As for the elders, their faces were hidden. At this moment, the first elder spoke. He scoffed coldly, and his voice spread in all directions like thunder. First, he calmed everyone's hearts, then he said, "Don't be frightened by him. This should be a secret pupil technique. It's nothing to fuss about directly killing the soul. As long as the soul is protected, there won't be a problem." Is that so? Looks like you're very confident in yourself. Lin Xian looked at the first elder and sneered. In the next moment he raised his palm, and a chaotic sword chi flew out and slashed forward. This sword was too terrifying. The sky was directly cut in half, and the terrifying aura made everyone tremble. The first elder's pupils constricted. He did not expect the other party to be so decisive. He attacked without hesitation. Damn it, get lost. However, he was the first elder after all. He was a peerless powerhouse, and he even had the soaring serpent's bloodline power. Therefore he would not admit defeat so easily. In the next moment he roared and instantly activated his bloodline power. He knew that the other party was a great enemy, so he did not dare to be careless. Boom. He struck out with his palm, and the illusory image of a soaring serpent appeared in the sky. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. It kept circling and emitting light that filled the sky. It blocked the shocking chaotic sword chi. Boom boom boom. Energy exploded and the surrounding space kept collapsing, but it was still blocked. Great. The first elder finally blocked it. Seeing this scene, everyone cried out in alarm. The Ting family's martial artists were so excited that they cried. This was because they felt that there was hope for the Ting family. As strong as that young fellow was, he could not be a match for the first elder. On the other side, Hu Yidao and the other two elders who were next to Lin Xian sneered. This was because they knew their hall master was not only capable of this. Chapter 2399. Sure enough, at the next moment, the sword light on Lin Xian's body became even brighter. Countless sword lights lit up the sky. The sword seemed to be able to split heaven and earth apart. Boom, boom, boom. The sky shook, the earth trembled, and the mountains in the distance rumbled. What? That sword technique is so fearsome. It can actually cause a phenomenon in heaven and earth. The faces of the Ting family's martial artists took on ghastly expressions when they saw this. The Ting family's great elder had a grave look on his face too. He roared furiously, and the energy in his body moved quickly. He did not dare to be careless at all. Next, endless lights gathered above him and formed a flying serpent that spiraled in the void. It rode on clouds and mists, and its fearsome aura enveloped the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Its massive body pressed down on Lin Xian as if it wanted to crush him. At this moment, the great elder finally used his bloodline power and summoned the illusory image of the flying serpent. That power was so strong that it shocked everyone. Boom, boom, boom. The flying serpent shrouded the surroundings. Fearsome poisonous mists spread, and a murderous aura soared into the sky. The martial artists in the distance also quickly retreated. They retreated to their clan's formation and watched quietly. Young fella, go to hell. The great elder roared, and the illusory image of the flying serpent above his head completely erupted. Lin Xian also frowned. He had to admit that the great elder was indeed formidable. The great elder's bloodline power had erupted at this moment, and he also felt a slight threat. Nevertheless, he sneered at the next moment, and a dragon's roar was heard coming from his body. In the sky, the cold aura was instantly extinguished, and the fearsome poisonous gases were also blown away by the strong wind. Buzz! The sword shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. A shocking sword chi descended from the sky. It was as if an immortal light had collapsed the entire sky. The great elder was shocked because he realized that his opponent's sword chi was stronger than before. In a panic, he roared madly again and activated his bloodline power. Boom, boom, boom. Intense collisions were heard in the sky. Fearsome lights lit up the sky, causing everyone to be unable to open their eyes at all. After the first attack, the great elder quickly retreated. Even so, the illusory image of the flying serpent wrapped around him tightly, so that he didn't get hurt too badly. On the other side, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He didn't retreat. Instead, he charged forward. The ancient dragon abyss sword appeared in the sky, tearing the void apart. Demon ceiling. The sword soared into the sky. Even with the superb formation, the Ting family's martial artists still sensed bone-piercing chills. In the sky, countless clouds were directly pierced through and huge cracks appeared. The terrifying sword light was like a mountain, soaring into the sky. Countless sword chi turned into a huge seal, completely sealing off the sky. The soaring serpent roared madly and slammed into the gaps around it. However, each and every one of those sword chis was like a 5-fingered mountain. They were abnormally terrifying and could not be broken apart at all. Collapsing heaven. Another sword appeared in the sky, and the sky in front of him instantly collapsed. The soaring serpent was torn apart by the terrifying power. The soaring serpent's phantom was destroyed, and the great elder was sent flying, vomiting blood. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. His opponent had destroyed his soaring serpent so easily. How was this possible? That was the power of his bloodline. Chaotic rebellion. Lin Xian shouted coldly, and a hazy sword shadow appeared on his body. Tens of millions of sword chi crisscrossed and charged forward. The sky was instantly annihilated, and the great elder was enveloped by countless sword lights. Bang bang bang. A part of the world was pierced through. The elders roared madly and attacked with all their might, wanting to tear apart the storm. Save the great elder. As for the surrounding spirit formations, they began to tremble violently. In fact, cracks had even appeared in some places. When everything disappeared, the great elder was covered in blood. More than half of his body had been cut off. At this moment he was on the verge of death. What? How could this be? Everyone was stunned when they saw this. They could not believe it at all. You're no match for me at all. Tell your patriarch to get out here. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing all of you. If you want our patriarch to come out, you'll have to kill me. The great elder roared madly. His face was ferocious, and the bloodline power in his body began to burn. It seemed like he wanted to risk his life to attack. Seeing this, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Do you think I don't dare to do it? Metal sword. Lin Xian shouted coldly. He waved the ancient sword in his hand, and a golden light flashed as fast as lightning, instantly slashing across. Poof! The great elder's head flew up. This sword was too fast, and it was so sharp that it was impossible to guard against it. Even a peerless almighty would not be able to dodge it. Moreover, the great elder was heavily injured, so he was killed in one strike. What sword technique is this? How could it be so terrifying? The Ting family's martial artists were horrified. The other elders also felt their scalps go numb. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Hu Yidao and the others were shocked. This seems to be the metal sword of the Immortal Palace's 5-element sword. This is a heaven-class cultivation technique. Heavens, how long has it been since the palace master came? Even if it's the first day of cultivation, it's probably only been a few months. To be able to use the metal sword to such an extent, his talent is too heaven-defying. At this moment, Hu Yidao, Peacock and Ghostly were shocked. They discovered that their hall master was simply too terrifying. Even the elders and deacons on the Black Demon ship were shocked. The 100 elite martial artists were extremely excited. Too powerful. Their palace master is too powerful. This made their blood boil. After killing the great elder with one strike, the sword chi on Lin Xian's body did not weaken. Instead, it became even more violent. It covered the entire sky, and the terrifying sword chi whistled. The Ting family's martial artists were extremely pale. Damn it, kill him. Fight it out with him. Some people in the formation gritted their teeth. Boom boom boom. They quickly activated their killing formations. One by one, the shocking killing formations rushed over. As an invincible king family, the Ting family was very terrifying. They had a lot of killing formations. 5 of them were activated instantly. One was as red as blood, and it carried flames that filled the sky. The other was as black as ink, and it looked like rolling demonic clouds. There were also sword chi that filled the sky, terrifying saber lights and violent lightning. The 5 killing formations shrouded Lin Xian in an instant, intending to kill him completely. The momentum was extremely terrifying. At this moment, the 5 of them attacked together and they could kill an almighty. Therefore, the Ting family's martial artists who were in charge of killing revealed a sinister expression. But Lin Xian did not hesitate either. In an instant he activated the Dragon Sword domain. The domain continued to expand, and instantly enveloped the 5 killing formations. Thousands of sword chi flew out quickly, and instantly pierced through the 5 killing formations. Not only that, the thousands of martial artists in the 5 killing formations were instantly annihilated. Boom boom boom. The sky split open and black holes appeared one after another. Countless blood sprinkled down. Everyone was stunned by what they saw. Chapter 2400. The elders of the Ting family roared crazily. No. Damn it. Stop it. Kill him, we must kill him. No matter what price we have to pay, we must kill him. At this moment, the second elder roared. His eyes were red and filled with madness. The other elders were also filled with killing intent. More cultivators from the Ting family rushed over. Seeing this, Lin Xian snorted and pointed his sword to the sky. Beside him, Hu Yidao, Peacock and Ghostly stood out and emitted a terrifying aura. Not only that, but Xing Tian also stepped out. The aura on his body was like that of an ancient demon mountain, pressing down. The dark red holy dragon transformed into 100 Zhang-long divine dragon and roared. The bloodline power of the Ting family cultivators trembled. What, you want to fight? Do you believe that I won't destroy the Ting family today? The sword intent on Lin Xian's body became even more dazzling. In the sky, the Black Demon ship slowly descended. 100 young cultivators jumped off the ship. They flew quickly and their auras suddenly burst out. They were too excited and couldn't wait any longer. At this moment, when they received Lin Xian's order, they quickly rushed out. Not only them, but dozens of deacons and elders also walked out. The auras on their bodies were even stronger. In an instant, the figures behind Lin Xian were densely packed, and each of them was incomparably powerful. Damn it, why does he have so many people? The people from the Ting family were truly dumbfounded. Each of them began to tremble. Even the elders' pupils shrunk. The aura of an almighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Heavens, how is this possible? So many. They realized that there were several almighties on the other side. In addition, the auras of the young cultivators were also abnormally terrifying. This is a group of geniuses, a group of powerhouses. Damn it, who is this kid? How does he have such a terrifying force? The Ting family cultivators were stunned and their faces were filled with fear. They didn't dare to make a move anymore. Indeed, they had more people, but their overall strength was no match for the other side. Unless they let all the warriors of the Ting clan come out and use their so-called trump card. In that case they might be able to kill him. However, for the other party to be able to send out so many cultivators in an instant, the power behind them must be even more terrifying. In fact, he had even surpassed them. If they really offended such a figure, the Ting family would not have a good time in the future even if they killed those people. This was especially true when they saw the mysterious smile on Lin Xian's face. They were extremely frightened. "You dare to attack us? You really don't know what's good for you," Ghostly sneered. The martial artist from the Ting family gulped. The Ting family's elder had a grim look on his face. "Who knew?" A cold voice was heard coming from the depths of the Ting family. Then a terrifying force tore through the clouds and a figure stepped through the air. Upon seeing this person, the Ting family's martial artist turned around and exclaimed, "Patriarch! Greetings to the Patriarch! Welcome, Patriarch! It was great that the human race was here." The Ting family's martial artists roared madly. Even the elders heaved sighs of relief. This was because their patriarch was an incredibly fearsome being. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The other party had finally appeared. When he took a step forward, a figure appeared in the sky. It was a middle-aged man who wore a white robe and had black hair draped behind his back. His eyes were long and narrow and they shone brightly. "I'm surprised that you're still alive. Your strength is also beyond my expectations. Why don't we stop here? How about we each take a step back?" The Ting family's patriarch looked at Lin Xian and said in a deep voice, "Take a step back." Upon hearing this, the Ting family's elders were shocked. The martial artists were also in an uproar. Was the Ting family going to admit defeat? This was truly an earth-shattering event. The Ting family was an invincible king clan. They had never given in to anyone before. Now they actually gave in to a young man. This made them in disbelief. However, when they saw the many fearsome powerhouses behind the young man, they fell silent. "Take a step back?" Lin Xian sneered when he heard this. "When you sent the Ting family's powerhouses to kill me, did you ever think of taking a step back? Now that you've seen my strength, you're telling me to take a step back? Do you think there's such a good thing in the world? Today you and these elders must die." "What?" As soon as he said that, all of the Ting family's martial artists were stunned. The other party was too arrogant. The Ting family had already given in, but the other party was still unyielding. He still wanted to kill them? He even wanted to kill their patriarch? This was too much. They roared angrily. The Ting family's patriarch's face darkened. "Young fella, don't be too arrogant. Don't think that you can contend against the Ting family just because you can summon so many powerhouses. The Ting family's foundation isn't something you can imagine." "Is that so? Isn't he just an invincible king? Let him come out and see if I have a way to deal with him." Lin Xian did not care at all. But his eyes became incomparably cold, and the aura on his body suddenly burst out. He pointed his long sword forward. "Cut the crap. Go to hell." When he slashed out with his sword, the vast sword light caused the entire sky to tremble. "Stubborn. Today I'll suppress you." The Ting family's patriarch was also furious. Next he waved his sleeve and slapped out. At once, a purple flying snake flew out. The snake's shadow kept growing in the sky like a mountain. It was extremely terrifying. Its enormous body filled the sky, crushed the space, and fiercely collided with the sword chi. Boom. An earth-shattering sound spread out in all directions. The Ting family's martial artists vomited large mouthfuls of blood and kept retreating. It was too terrifying. Just the aftermath of the energy was enough to make them unable to withstand it. Everyone retreated into the defense formation. A few elders shouted crazily and they kept retreating. On the other side, Hu Yidao and the others also retreated to the big black ship. In front of them, only the Ting family's patriarch and Lin Xian were left. Boom. Boom. Seeing that his clansmen had retreated, the Ting family's patriarch no longer had any scruples. The light on his body became more and more terrifying. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was like a god of swords. The two of them fought crazily like two gods that had descended into the mortal world. Boom. Lin Xian punched out and the sky was filled with light. The terrifying fist turned into a black sun that pushed out in the sky. Burning Sky Scorching Sun Fist. This was the war tribe's divine ability. When it appeared in Lin Xian's hands, it was extremely terrifying. "Watch me swallow your son." The Ting family's patriarch stretched out his 10 fingers, which turned into 10 ferocious snakes that danced in the sky. Each snake was 3 kilometers long and crushed the void. At this moment, the 10 snakes moved together as if they were going to destroy the world. Chapter 2401. Each Ting snake was 1,000 feet long. Their huge bodies spun in the air and crushed the void. At this moment, the 10 Ting snakes moved together as if they were going to destroy the world. Brr, brr, brr. The 10 purple Ting snakes waved in the sky, opened their bloody mouths and swallowed all the black suns in the sky. This scene was too terrifying. It was as if they were going to devour the world. The martial artists of the Ting family clapped and cheered. After Lin Xian saw this, he sneered. So what if they swallowed his fist technique? Watch me refine your Ting snakes. As he spoke, he stretched out a palm and grabbed. This palm was extremely terrifying. It kept growing bigger and bigger, covering the entire world. One couldn't see the end of it. Not only that, but the sun, moon, and stars revolved in his palm. It was very mysterious. Sun Moon Divine Palm. This was also a terrifying divine ability. At this moment, Lin Xian used the Great Dragon Sword Soul again. Boom, boom, boom. The Sun Moon Divine Palm fell mercilessly and enveloped the 10 Ting snakes in the sky. Whoosh. Air waves rolled and light shone. The sun, moon, and stars revolved as if they could destroy everything. The 10 Ting snakes roared crazily and counterattacked crazily. However, their bodies started to rupture. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Then they exploded with a boom. Between heaven and earth, countless spiritual chi appeared. The 10 Ting snakes had disappeared. What? They were destroyed. How was this possible? The martial artists of the Ting family couldn't believe it. However, in the next moment they screamed. This was because they realized that after the palm destroyed the 10 Ting snakes, it once again grabbed towards their clan leader. Buzz. In an instant, the Sun Moon Divine Palm appeared in front of the Ting family's clan leader. The terrifying energy directly cracked the void. Damn it, get lost. The Ting family's clan leader roared crazily. Mysterious patterns appeared on his body and the power of his bloodline was also activated. At this moment he was like a demon king, resisting the Sun Moon Divine Palm in the sky. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The Sun Moon Divine Palm was boundless and mysterious. It completely grabbed the Ting family's clan leader and slowly closed its 5 fingers. Finally, it closed completely. Clan leader. When the Ting family warriors saw this scene, they roared crazily. The hearts of the Ting family's elders pounded wildly. They did not dare to imagine that their clan leader had been captured by the other party. The reason for that was because the power of the sun, moon, and stars was simply too frightening. Even a peerless expert would be injured. Boom. Just as they decided to take action and save the clan leader together, the situation in front of them changed again. The palm that was originally closed slowly opened at this moment, and a figure rushed out quickly. Damn brat. I'm going to kill you. I will definitely tear you to shreds. The person who rushed out was the Ting family's patriarch. His hair was disheveled at the moment, and his white robe was torn, revealing a blue armor. There was a black demonic tripod cauldron above his head, which gave rise to monstrous demonic flames. Not only that, but there was also a terrifying soaring serpent coiling around his body. Brat, I will never forgive you. The Ting clan patriarch's voice was cold as he clenched his fist. Suddenly, the shadow of the soaring serpent behind him flowed into his hand and transformed into a purple long spear. Brat, you will pay the price for your actions. The Ting family's patriarch waved the purple long spear in his hand, and the void in front of him was completely split apart. A terrifying power charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian wielded the Dragon Abyss ancient sword to resist it. The two of them fought again. On the 99th move, Lin Xian's ancient sword suddenly emitted a light, and 2 of the runes disappeared. As for that power, it instantly burst forth. Boom. The sword slashed down and collided with the purple long spear, causing cracks to appear on the purple long spear. Another 3 slashes were made, and the purple long spear was directly shattered. As for the Ting family's patriarch, he kept retreating. Damn it. How did this happen? The Ting family's patriarch's face was gloomy, and the others were all stunned. What's going on? How did the other party suppress their patriarch again? They could not believe it at all. Buzz. A dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared in Lin Xian's left hand again, and he directly turned toward the black demonic tripod cauldron. The sword cut the black demonic tripod cauldron in half. Poof. The black demonic tripod cauldron was originally a defensive treasure, and it was very powerful. However, after it was cut in half, the Ting family's patriarch immediately suffered from the impact, and he vomited blood as he flew backward. Good chance. When Lin Xian saw this, his body flashed and he charged toward the patriarch. Runes flickered in his left eye. The floating light phantom flew out and immediately pulled the patriarch's soul into an illusion. Then he struck with both swords and slashed the patriarch's body. In an instant, the Ting family's patriarch's body caved in, and he was even cut in half at the waist. Blood spurted out, dyeing the sky red. The Ting family's martial artists went completely crazy. Their patriarch was cut in half by a sword. It was truly unbelievable. Ah! The Ting family's patriarch roared crazily in the sky, and soon, something shocking happened. Countless purple snake shadows suddenly appeared at the cut in half of his body, and they quickly intertwined. His severed body actually healed once again. Whoosh! In the next moment, the Ting family's patriarch's body appeared in the distance. He was panting heavily, and his face was abnormally pale. However, his eyes were extremely ferocious, and they shone with purple light. Damn it! The Ting family's patriarch was furious. If he did not have the Ting snake bloodline, he would have been killed by this sword. On the other side, Lin Xian also frowned when he saw this. He's not dead? Moreover, his body healed? What technique is this? It's so strange. Young fella, this is the Ting snake bloodline power, a kind of divine ability. As long as it's not a fatal injury, it can usually heal. He Tu explained through voice transmission. The Ting snake has such a divine ability. Lin Xian was surprised. This is equivalent to an immortal body. However, if it was a fatal blow, he would definitely be killed. Even if the patriarch could heal, it would probably be useless. Whoosh! In front of him, the Ting family's patriarch took out a few pills from his interspatial ring and quickly swallowed them. He also consumed a purple Ganoderma and a bottle of black liquid. Then his exhausted physical strength and injuries were quickly healing. So what? This sword strike is enough to kill you. Seeing that the patriarch had recovered, Lin Xian did not go forward to stop him at all. He took a deep breath, and a piercing cold light suddenly burst out from his eyes. Then, the great dragon sword in his left hand and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his right hand merged together. Buzz! He held the sword with both hands and slashed. Snake swallows heaven and earth. On the other side, the Ting family's patriarch also launched his strongest attack. He twisted his body and turned into a giant purple snake in the sky. It was 50,000 meters tall, and then it swooped down. The snake opened its mouth and swallowed the entire world in an instant. The sky instantly darkened and only endless sword lights flashed. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.